Yo, 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 yo. How you guys doing today? Novocaine Omega here with another Each Nine Teach Nine broadcast, aka tutorial of sorts. All right, so we're about to get it in. Let me make sure everything is set up properly. Make sure y'all can hear me. I'm kind of discombobulated today, so I didn't get a lot of sleep, and I'm trying to perk myself up with this coffee and everything like that. So that's where we're at with it. But how y'all doing? Let's see. First of all, I haven't even uploaded my banner for today. So we're going to do that right now. I mean, not my banner, but my overlay. Here we go. Here it is. Hold on, Star. Check, check. All right, good. Here it is. So today, you guys, we're going to be talking about recording vocals. Today, we're going to talk about recording vocals. I've done this before. I've done this tutorial before. I'm a little bit upset because my setup is not giving me, it's not working with me. I have a capture card and the capture card is not working. So I'm late. I'm 30 minutes late because I was trying to set this up. I had it set up in advance and then it didn't work. I saw it on the screen, but I couldn't get StreamYard to show it to you guys. So unfortunately, I can't show you the actual recording of vocals on the screen like I was going to show you, which that's fine. I'll just do another tutorial another day. But there's plenty. There's plenty that I can teach you. All right. So we're talking about this today, huh? We're talking about this today. We're going to be working from home, learning how to record some vocals. All right. And I want you guys to understand that you can free yourself from financial burdens and shit by learning how to use your skills to work from home. We're streamers. A lot of us here on Twitch, right? We're streamers or people in the world. A lot of us now have Zoom and stuff like that. So you're starting to be used to what it feels like to maybe talk on a microphone or something like that. And I'm here to tell you that that is a skill that you can get paid to use. All right. And I'm going to teach it to you today. We're going to talk about it, all the aspects. All right. So that's that. Good, good, good. So welcome in. If you are on Twitch, please host. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, like, share, comment, all that stuff. And let me know that you're here. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. So let me run my intro again to make it official. Is y'all ready? All right. So voice acting. As we let people pile up in here, I'll go ahead and give you some background on me, who I am, how I got into this stuff, and how it became my career and everything. I'm not going to take too long into that because I want to get into how we can actually record a good sounding vocal. We're going to talk about, everything, gating, compression, setting up your microphone and all that different kind of shit. Okay. But I'm a professional voice actor, AKA voice talent. All right. That's what they call us, voice talent. And I've done it all. I've done it all. Um, hold on. Let me open up I'm so hot that I can't show y'all what I was going to show y'all. I am so hot about that because I thought I was able to share my laptop before. Okay, hold on. Give me a minute. Give me 1 second. Pictures, videos, music, Novocaine voiceover. There we go. Okay. So I've done everything in voiceover that you can imagine. We're going to get a little bit deeper into that in a minute as I let you guys come in. How you doing? Art artist Jeffrey. You hit the like? Yeah. Greenwich Crafts. Welcome in. How you doing? It's good to have you as always. Happy Tuesday. All right. So, okay, back to this. So you guys, I've been voice acting now for 3 years. I've been voice acting since the middle of 2019, I'd say. And it has carried me through COVID so good. Hey, Stephen Ringer. What's good, family? When I read things you type, I read it in your voice. Like in my mind, I just heard your voice. You know what I mean? You got that Georgia voice. You know what I mean? How you doing, fam? All right. So I've done in the 3 years that I have been voice acting, I've done about 700 voice acting jobs. Yes, I have. And they have ranged everywhere from, I'm reading from this folder here. This is my folder this is my laptop. Y'all can't see it really, but this is the laptop I use to record all my voiceovers. So I've done everything from announcements, audiobooks. Of course, I do auditions all the time, characters, commercials, demos, documentary narration, event promos, meditationals, ASMR type stuff. outgoing messages and phone systems, podcasts, poems, political ads and political work, PSAs and community service, religious stuff, songs. I've been in people's songs. They've hired me to say stuff in their songs, taglines, drops, training courses, instructionals, and YouTube videos. So you can get a lot of work when you do voice acting. It's you can't even imagine how much work you actually get as a voice actor, you know. And they're actively making the robots so that they can voice act in our places. So the robots are out here too, but right now there's no robot that can really do a voice acting job the way you can, sis or bro. So never fret. Right now is the time. Eventually the robots will be good enough to do voice acting and they won't need really humans other than to map our voices into the robots. They won't really need us. But right now, yes. This explains the voice of honey. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Um, so actually let me explain a little better how I got into it, right? So those of you who know me, you've seen me do this tutorial before. But you know, I keep getting new followers and you know, they always go, "Oh, you voice act." So I find the need to do this at least once every 2 months or so. All right. But this is how I got into it. So I'm an MC. I'm an MC first and foremost. I've been rhyming since I was 15. Um, but not only have I been rhyming, but I've been doing little shit like recording myself at the house on like karaoke machines and stuff like that. So I always had an audio visual kind of aspect to my personality. And I'm good at that, right? I'm good at setting up videos and setting up, you know, audio stuff. And so that already has kind of prefaced my career because it takes this. Hey, thanks, Paul, with the 15 bits. DJ Hot Rizzo 5. How you doing? Y'all make sure y'all follow Paul. Y'all follow Stefan, okay? DJ Hot Rod. I'm sure you probably stream. I don't know if you do or not, but y'all follow him too. How you doing, fam? Yeah. So I've been rhyming since I was 15. So that was what 20? How many years? I'm not good at math. 43 minus 15. You do the math, right? I'm 43 years old. So I've been rhyming since 15 years old, and I've been rhyming hard since I was 15. It's not like I just rhyme. I rhyme like I mean it. So I've recorded all kind of songs in all kind of studios, and then eventually I started recording myself. So we're a record label named Soul Trust Records, called Soul Trust Records. You could watch this 100 times. Thank you. And there is always more to teach. There's always something I leave out. Brian Ote, y'all, this is my cousin. This is my little cousin here. Make sure you know the name. Hey, Brian, talk your shit. You know what I mean? So I'm that's right. That's my MC name is Novocaine, right? So that's what everybody knows me for. But that has led me into a nice little voice acting career, right? So anyway, time went on. We made a record label called Soul Trust Records. Soul Trust Records is a grassroots record label, right? So I was the main, I am the main engineer. I'm the person recording all the music and stuff like that. And so I got really good or decent at recording people's vocals. And I started learning a lot about, just how to record vocals. So fast forward, I wanted to build a booth in the house, and I'm pointing right here because this is where the booth was at. So I built a 3x3 foot booth, and it was tall. It was like probably about 7 feet tall, out of PVC pipe, moving blankets, and foam, audio foam, and stuff like that. I put a green light in there. I put a roof on there. I put a green light in there. There were all kind of stickers and stuff, and it was dope. People loved to go in there. I used to go in there and just be in there, especially when I first built it. I loved it. I'm going into that to say I got into voice acting because I was looking up how to build that booth, and I came across this video by this lady, and she was like, "Yeah, we moved into this new apartment. This new apartment has hardwood floors, and it's really reflective sounding." And she was like, "I'm a voice actor, and I need to block all these reflections from being in my recording." By reflections, I mean when you talk against the wall, or if you talk in a place where there's flat screens and shit, like I'm surrounded by flat screens, my voice is subtly bouncing off the screens. It's bouncing off this screen, that screen, the tables, the chairs, and it's making reflections, right? So if you want to kind of get rid of that kind of ambient reflection noise, you build a booth or you put yourself in a soundproof environment or sound treated environment. Because soundproofing is different than sound treating. Sound treating is mild soundproofing, but soundproofing is actually very difficult and it costs money too, if you really want to truly soundproof a place. So I didn't need it to be completely soundproof, but I needed it to definitely close us in and give us also when MCs would come and rhyme and sing and stuff, they were out here in the open with us. And I found that the booth gave them like an ambient space that they could be in. And it had a lot of people used to take selfies in there. They used to broadcast from there onto Instagram and all of that because they really liked the way it looked on the inside. If I was prepared enough, I would have put a picture up of the booth because I took pictures of the booth and pictures of me inside the booth. But we took it down to stream. So that's that. So no more booth because we stopped using it because I got this Chaotica eyeball right here. And it just kind of made it so the booth was just taking up space. After a while, I was never using the booth. And it wasn't soundproof anyway. And I live on this busy ass street with all of this noise going by. And it's not a good look. You know what I mean? So I was like, I need something. When I went to look her up, she was a voice actor and she said, hey, I'm building this booth for this. And I was like, voice acting? That's interesting. I never really thought about trying to do that, and I'm like, why wouldn't they have apps and stuff for this now? You know what I mean? I always wanted to voice act. I think a lot of people do, especially if they've been told they have a nice voice. People definitely tell me that a lot. So I was like, I should get into that. But I was trying to make music. So I wasn't really ready for it just yet. I did go down the rabbit hole though, and I started looking up all this stuff about voice acting at that time. So this is early 2019. And I saw then, I was like, okay, well, I think this might have even been 2018. I was like, I'm not ready for voice acting. I need to make a demo first. So I just left it at that. I think like a year or two went by. Enter Fiverr into my life. I started graphic designing on Fiverr, but I quickly saw that I couldn't really make a lot of money doing graphic design on Fiverr because it's too competitive. Everybody is undercharging, and they're giving people 1,000 images for like $5, and I'm just like, I can't do that. I can't make a living like that, right? And I refuse, right? I'm worth more than that. Meanwhile, I was like, okay, well, let me try. I'm used to, but I had gotten acclimated to using Fiverr, so I was like, okay, I know how to use Fiverr now. Let me revisit voice acting, and it was the best thing I ever did in my life, you guys. So if you are thinking about doing it, if you're really thinking about doing it, I'm serious. Please go ahead and start building up your little stuff because you don't need a lot. I'm going to tell you what you need in a minute, but you don't need a lot, and you can get started with voice acting too. And it's something that is one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. A lot of voice acting jobs are very fulfilling. Some of the stuff that you do is community service based and stuff like that, PSAs and stuff about health and you name it. Actually, you're going to do voice acting jobs around it, and it keeps you really aware of what's going on in the world because all the political ads and stuff you do and just whatever, right? So I opened up a voice acting gig on Fiverr. And then it became my best-selling gig. Thank you for the likes. And if you guys are new in the channel, y'all make sure y'all share, host, whatever, and introduce yourself so I can know that you're there. Yeah. So I started getting all this activity around my voice acting gig, and so I was like, well, no need to do the graphic design one anymore. So I just paused that gig and I only do the one gig. And it became my bestseller, and I'd say I did it for about 5 months, and then it started really, really picking up for me. My first major job was it was late 2019, and it was for Manscaped. Manscaped, y'all know the people with the ball shaving razors for men. Yeah, so I was like, they were like, I'm like 911. What is your emergency? And they're like, help, I think I cut my balls off. And I'm like, is that because you were using a rusty razor with blah, blah, blah? So that was my first job. And I really didn't do that great of a job. Like I read it okay. And I had enough sense to give the client a lot of takes, but it was recorded poorly. And I really am ashamed of how it's looking back. I'm like, ugh. But that was my first major job. And I got, a few $100s to do it. And I was excited about that, So that's when I was like, okay, this is something I really can do. And then 2020 came, my work picked up even more, but then what's the name came? COVID. And that's when my work picked up like a son bitch. I started getting mad work. You know what I mean? I got paid though, Stefan. I got paid. I did. And they worked with me. They were really friendly and cool. The way that their ads are really funny. That's how it was to work with them. They were just really cool people. They shared the results with me because a lot of times the clients don't do that. They don't necessarily remember to hit you back up and say, hey, this is what we ended up doing with your voice or whatever. They hit me up. They let me know what they did. It was hilarious. The final ad was really, really funny. So, but it gave me confidence to know that I really could keep doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Lady Charmaine, ain't that right? What's up, Patty? Hey, boo. Patty. Patty. All right. So that's how I got into it. And as these 3 years have gone by, I've gotten better and better at it. So that's another thing. It's something that I didn't really think I could get that much better at using my voice, if I'm being honest. right? I didn't think because I've always read and spoke well. I always spoke well and I always read well. So I just didn't think I was going to get that much better. Shit, like I'm tons better at speaking, talking, and enunciating my words and everything, without sounding like, "Hey, you guys, how are you doing?" I mean, I don't talk like that, but now I know how to kind of like talk, and really wield my voice and bring it up, bring it down, make it sexy, make it urgent, make it aggressive, make it whatever. I'm a lot better at commanding that than I was before. You know what I mean? Because I've picked up a little bit acting chops from doing this, right? So that's that. So that's how I got into it. I'm surprised I got through that quickly. All right, because it's kind of a long story in a way. All right, and uh before you know it, I was doing political ads. Like I said, COVID came. I started doing all these PSAs and being all these different characters and just all this cool shit, right? Okay, cool. So if you are interested in doing it yourself, you don't have to use Fiverr, but I always say that I recommend Fiverr or at least voice acting one voice act what is it? Voices.com or voice 123 or whatever. But for sure, Fiverr is a good place to start if you're an amateur, right? I'm paying attention. This is exciting. People have always told me I had a radio voice. Yeah. And we're going to talk. I said this last night, but I'll say it again. Even if you're like, if you're in your mind, you're like, I would like to voice act, but I don't like my voice, or no one would like my voice. Shut up, because you're wrong. You're wrong. I'm not going to lie. Having a nice voice is going to get you jobs. Having a nice voice is obviously a good thing, but having a nice voice is not really at the crux of voice acting. Having a voice that you know how to wield is at the crux of voice acting. People want all kinds of voices, and in fact, that old school voice is less desirable than it used to be. So that kind of uh what let me see. Do I got anything I can read? What they say, personalize your monitor, create a truly personal, you know what I mean? Like people don't really want that kind of voice anymore like they used to want back in the day, like the radio voice. Sometimes they do, but really they kind of want more of a human voice now. So that been, when I first started doing this, I would try to sound overly commercial, and then I had to learn, like the client would be like, no, I need you to sound more casual than this. So they want casual but still good acting. You know what I mean? So, but I always say this: does Morgan Freeman have a nice voice? No, not at all. But is he the most narrating motherfucker who ever lived? Yes. Because he's an actor. He knows how to wield his voice, and his voice has a sound that they're looking for, right? That's true, right? Yeah, his voice has a sound that they're looking for. So how do we start without a portfolio of past works? You don't. I actually did a whole tutorial about how to make your demo. What you do, so since we're in it, I'm going to do the briefing, and then I'm going to get into how you actually record. I'm so pissed that I cannot show you the screen. I was going to really record some shit for you today live and show you how to edit a voiceover, but I can't do that. So say la vie. I'll have it set up perfect for you guys next time. What you do, Stefan, is you would go and give me a moment. I'm going to show you what you would do. Give me one moment, sir. You would, let me see what I can read for you guys. Okay, this is perfect. This is perfect. Hold on, y'all. Hold your horses. Hold your horse. Okay, perfect, 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 perfect. Perfect, 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 perfect. So, what you would do to get into it is this. Initially, when I got started, I went, and that's a great question, by the way. That's a great question. That's why I did a whole tutorial about it, because it's a good question, because it was what was holding me up. I wanted to get started right away, but I didn't have a portfolio. And it's like, if I had ID, I wouldn't need ID, right? So what you do is, well, what I did, and then I'll tell you what you should do, because I did something that you actually shouldn't do. I went on voice acting websites and found sample scripts. I read the sample scripts. I got a good recording of them. I edited it down, and then I went onto YouTube and I downloaded royalty-free music. I put the music up underneath my voice. Boom. People don't necessarily need to know that you worked for a real client, even though that helps. They need to know how you sound on some shit. That's all they really care about. They care if you can read it. If they hear your voice, even if you're not that great at voice acting, they might still want to use you if that voice is the voice they want. Do you understand? So you have to make a demo kind of in advance of you having one. And this is but I wouldn't recommend reading sample scripts from websites, because you're not going to be the only one doing that. And unfortunately, a part of my demo to this day has this thing in it that I've heard other voice actors use as well, because they went on the website like I did and just found a sample script and then they read it, right? But me, I put music under it. Okay. So what you can do instead, though, which is really cool, this is a cool way to make a demo. Let me see. Hey, Nola, how you doing, baby? Hey, Laura, how are you doing? Welcome in. What's up, y'all? What you can do is just get products from around the crib, right? Products, books, and just read them. Read that shit. Just read it, right? So African shea butter raw, 100% natural. So African shea butter is made from the nut of the African shea tree. It contains a rich amount of unremovable unremovable fatty acid, which renders it far superior to cocoa butter and other natural vegetable butters. So as you can see, I'm kind of fumbling through it because it's my first time reading it. If I read this 3 or 4 more times, I would get really good at reading it, and I would almost have it kind of semi-memorized. And then by the end of you reading it, you got it, right? So, the fatty acid is crucial to rejuvenating and moisturizing the skin. Shea butter provides all the essential vitamins needed to make skin look and feel smoother, softer, and most importantly, healthier. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you do that. Here's a book. On the back, books always have like a little write-up. The book, A History of the African Olmecs, Black Civilizations of America from Prehistoric Times to the Present Era, is one of the most fascinating, well-researched, and well-written books on the subject of the Black and Black African presence in prehistoric and ancient Americas, blah, 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 right? So that's what you would do. I do plan on in fact, I have the course right up here on the screen, the course I've been writing. It's a lot, though. It's putting together a course, especially about this. It's a lot, boo-boo. So I'm working on it. Rootsman, how you doing? Ain't shea butter the bomb? So you can do that, right? And then when you're done, if you go and get some music and put under it, it'll be like, oh, this demo is great. And your ass ain't had one bit of work. You see how that works? So that's what you want to do, all right? So you read the backs of things, you read the products, and you read it the way you think you should read it. And then you pick out the music that you think should go under it, right? So you don't want to read every one the exact same way. Sometimes you can read them with a little bit more like pep, especially depending on what it is, right? So let's say this don't really have a write-up on it. This doesn't really have a write-up on it. Okay, so I can't use this. But let's just say this was like some deodorant for like sports people. Then I would read it more sporty. You feel what I mean? I wouldn't be like, this deodorant stops and makes you not sweat and I would be like, this deodorant, da 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 da, with a little bit more of an urban voice. Great set yesterday. Thank you. What we talking about today, boo? We talking about this. Look at this screen, boo. We talking about this, boo. Okay, we voice acting. We recording our vocals. I'm teaching people how to record their vocals, right? So we still kind of in the intro part. How you doing, Joy? Y'all follow Joy. Joy's a beautiful. And happy International Women's Day, everybody, with titties. Press them shits together. Anyway, all right. Let's see. You said, uh-oh. Okay, let's get it. All right, so that's what you would do. That is a wonderful question. Wonderful, wonderful question, Stefan Ringer. All right, you have to just kind of fudge your demo until you get work. And then when you get work, you go back into your demo and fold in the new work. Okay, that's it. That's it. That's how you do that. And that's how I got my work. When my demo had stuff where am I streaming from? I'm streaming from Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm from Norfolk, Virginia. Or as we would say, Norfolk, right? 8 year. What's up, S Dot? How you doing? Y'all make sure y'all follow S Dot. That's my brother IRL. All right. Okay, so that's how you get started. You get your demo, you start getting you some work. So now let's just assume you got some work, because I can say a lot about like how to just get started, but I've done a lot of tutorials about it. If you guys want me to link you out to those, the past ones I've done, they're all up on Facebook. I could just give you guys a link. Y'all can hit me in the whispers and I'll link you to my older broadcast where you can learn the basics. I've been doing these tutorials now for about 2 years about voice acting because I really want you guys who are interested in doing it and you want to work from home to get into it. It's so cool. It's such a cool job, and it's so rewarding. When I tell people that I do it, they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, that voice. That's why I love you." And it just makes me feel good. My self-esteem is never low because I get so much props for the job I do. And you can feel this feeling too. All right? So, let's go ahead and get into it. So what would you need to get started in voice acting? Obviously, you need a demo, but once you have a demo and some kind of profile and you are getting work to actually do the work, you need a computer. Hey, Brandon Johnson, welcome in. You need a computer. You need what they call a DAW, DAW. Stefan, I know you know what that is. You interested? Yes. Okay, good, good. You need a DAW, DAW. That stands for Digital Audio Workstation. And all that is Pro Tools or Audacity or, Logic or whatever you want to use. I still don't like my voice. A lot of people don't, but those people that don't like their voices, I be loving their voices. So I'll be the judge of that. I'll be the judge of that, boo. You don't tell me, I tell you. No, I don't. You don't have to like your voice, but you should. You should. For one, that's the one you got. Ain't nothing you can do about it. So you might as well fall in love with it. You might as well make it the shit. Make it your shit. You know what I mean? But a lot of people have voices that they be like, I don't like my voice. I'm like, boo, your voice is dope. And you just don't know. All right. All you have to do is learn how to use it. I was just telling Culture Chronicles. Y'all know Culture Chronicles is hubby. I was just telling Culture Chronicles that yesterday. I was like, you actually can sing, but you have a nice, like, you have a voice, but you just don't know how to use it. Like, he doesn't know how to sing, but if he did, he could sing. He has a great voice. He has some falsetto and some deep. You know what I mean? So it's dope. All right. So you need a computer, you need a digital audio work, some kind of program that can record audio, right? These days, these programs are free. You can get Pro Tools for free. It's not going to have all the bells and whistles, but you don't need that, right? You can just get it. All it needs to be able to do is record your voice, right? You can do that with almost anything, right? I use Cakewalk. Okay. Back in the day, Cakewalk was a program that was competing like kind of neck and neck with Pro Tools at one time, and then Pro Tools became the industry standard, and Cakewalk did not. However, they continued to make a dope app, you know what I mean, or whatever. It's not as dope as it used to be though. It was owned by a company called Sonar. The company either disbanded or they got rid of Cakewalk. They sold Cakewalk to Gibson Guitar. Gibson Guitar picked it up, and now they have reinstituted Cakewalk. It's better, but then some things about it are kind of wonky too. So whatever, but it does the job, right? So I use Cakewalk. Boom. Ryan Eaststep. You in here? Hey, boo boo. I'm glad you said that, Patty, because I didn't even see that he was in here. Reaper is a great free DAW. Yeah. Reaper is free. Audacity is free. Pro Tools is free. Cakewalk is free. And most of the DAWs now have a free iteration of their program. And then if you are a serious engineer, you would go ahead and pay for the whole program to open up the whole program. Right? All right, cool. And then you don't really need a lot of the plugins and stuff that DAWs can have because you don't need these vocals to have effects usually. Usually you want the vocals to be dry as possible, actually. You don't want any effects on the vocal, right? And if there are effects on it, you like GarageBand. See? That'll work. I make music too. So that's how I use I knew to use Cakewalk because I already make music. I'm already a producer and engineer and I make music. So I was like, yeah, voice acting for me, right? So that's what you need. You need the computer, you need the DAW, you need this stuff. Now, if you're using a USB mic, you won't need this, but I don't recommend using a USB mic. This right here that I'm using is a USB mic. I actually did do voiceovers with this for several months, but then I switched back to a non-USB, and the audio quality was just drastically better. So I recommend using an audio interface. This is the one. No need to look around really for any other kind. If you can't afford this though, you might want to get an M audio box, but my M audio box conked out on me. It didn't last long like this. This thing is durable like a tank. It's encased in metal. It just sounds really, really good. And it's the one. It's the one, So it sure is the way to go. What you talking about? The mics? Talking about a mic? All right. And then that's another thing, you guys, all of you guys who are DJs and shit, most of you already have the mic you need to do voiceovers. I wouldn't do voiceovers with these though. Don't do a voiceover with Don't do a voiceover with a dynamic microphone. So we're going to talk a little bit more about microphones before we move on. All right. So this is what you call a dynamic microphone. It's dynamic because you move around with it. You move around with it, right? It's designed to be dropped. It's designed. My set was crazy. Thank you guys. You guys are like really rubbing butter on me. And then I really was blushy last night because I played a house track I made called Thrills, and I didn't tell anybody it was by me. And then I was playing it, and then somebody in the chat, Kickstand, he was like, "Yo, can I get an ID on this track, yo?" And I was like, "This is me, fam." And he was like, "What?" And then the chat was like, "What?" And I felt so damn good. I was like, "Oh my god!" So thank you guys. Thank you guys for your feedback and stuff. I'm excited. How you doing, Secret Skin? Welcome in here. You Secret Skin streams, so y'all can follow Secret Skin if y'all want. You know what I mean? When you stream again, boo. Also, you, Stefan, when you streaming again. All right. So this is called a dynamic mic. Don't do voiceovers with this. Okay. I'm not saying that there are no mics that you can do that look like this that you can do voiceovers with. There are, but they're very expensive. This is for stage performance. This is for stage performance, and DJs and stuff can use it, whatever. But that's what it's for. It's designed for you to walk around. You talk in here. This is where it's receiving all of the signal at. And if you drop it or whatever, no big deal, right? It might break, but it probably won't because that's what it's designed. It's durable, designed to be thrown in and out of bags and shit. It's designed to kind of just only pick up really like what's going right into it like that. This right here, though, is a condenser mic. Where's my other ones? I should have had. I can just use this one. So this right here that I'm talking in is a condenser microphone. Now, this is a USB one. This is a USB. No, I'm being crazy. I'm being crazy. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Shit. Give me a moment. All right. So my point is, if you use a USB microphone, make sure that it's a good one. All USB microphones are not really made the same. They used to sound like shit. And so it was just like, no, do not record voiceovers with a USB mic. But it's changed. USB mics sound really good now, and some of them sound better than even the condenser, even the ones where you need the ones that use the XLR port. You know what I mean, or whatever. But for all intents and purposes, I would just use a condenser and use an interface. All right, give me a second. Let me take this afro off of here. Wednesday night, like late. I'm going to start streaming again soon. Mark has me so busy lately. Yes, that's right. You got that special DNA, girl. What's up, DJ Lev? I seen you earlier. How you doing? Grizzly Meadows loves the way I share information. Oh shit, this is on here tight, y'all. Tight fit. God damn. Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the afro in a minute. How heavy is my interface? It's heavy. I could kill a person with this interface. These Focusrites are built like this is a metal ass interface. I could bop you across the head. Did someone say voice acting? They did, DJ Bowtie. How you doing, baby? It's time to see you again, bro. It's time to see you again. All right. Anyway, so I mean, I want you to see this too. This is a cheap microphone. I'm not using. I have more expensive microphones than this, but this is a cheap microphone. This is a standard ass microphone called Audio Technica 2020. It's very basic, but let me tell you something. It gets the job done. You don't need. Let me give y'all some advice in general. Don't think that don't put stuff in the way of being successful with things, right? Like when I started DJing, I'm not a DJ, like I've just been doing it for a year. I'm learning. I've become a DJ, but when I started, I didn't know what I was doing at all. I didn't let the fact that I just had a really just kind of like generic control, not generic controller. It's a Newmark controller, but it's low end. You know what I mean? I don't have like Reigns and stuff like you guys, but I didn't let that stop me from getting out here and spinning the tunes. So it's the same way with this. Like, don't be like, oh, since I don't have a microphone that cost me $600 and $700, I can't get started in voice acting. It's like you don't want to invest that much money yet anyway. Get good at voice acting first, right? I deserve a $700 microphone because I've earned. I could use it. I know that I'm going to put it to good use. But I've learned that Because I watched a lot of videos where people testing microphones against each other. And sometimes that cheaper microphone sounds better than the more expensive one. Because at the end of the day, it's not really about that. As long as the microphone isn't detracting from your voice, you're good. You're recording into a DAW. So you can do a little EQing on your voice to bring that brightness out that you might want or whatever. But right now, listen, this works. So let's explain condenser microphones a little bit more for you guys. All right. This is a condenser microphone. You talk in the front. Condensers have front and backs. It actually says back right here on the back of it. It says front on the front. Usually the logo and stuff is in the front, so that's how you know where the front of the microphone is. You talk right in here. You don't talk here, and you don't talk back here. All right. You aim the microphone at your mouth. Here's the front part of the grill. All right. I'm a musician. DJing came natural. I mean, it did. It did. And I love music and I know music. I'm a music head in general. In addition to being a musician. How you doing, Toast? On Lurking for the Truth. Talk your shit. All right. So and it did, but I still was nervous just like anybody, because there's people up here doing turntablism and they got these big ass decks and all this shit set up, and I just barely had, my stuff, and I'm out here with you guys like trying to fit in and shit, you know what I mean? So, but I didn't let that stop me. You know what I mean? That's my point. You can always build up to the better equipment, but get good at using the equipment you have first. A lot of times people want to go and get the fancy shit and they don't know how to use the basic shit. You feel me? Amen. All right, church. Now, so anyway, this is a condenser microphone. You talk in the front, here's the top, here's the back. Condenser microphones are designed to pick up everything in the room. This is why you want these. They're going to pick up all the nice nuances of your voice. Has a bigger grill to receive the stuff, the signal through, and it's not designed to be shaken around and stuff like that. That's one reason why. I mean, I don't have one on this microphone, but right here you can see I have a spider mount on the microphone to absorb the shock from vibrations in the room and stuff like that, because this mic is going to pick that shit up, because that's what it's designed to do. The dynamic microphone is not designed to do that. You understand? So with the microphone, obviously you need a cord, which is going to come with the microphone 9 times out of 10, unless it's a really expensive microphone. You might have to buy a cord separately. You need a boom arm, right? This is the boom. This is a boom right here. This is one of many different kinds of booms. Sometimes people have microphones hanging from the ceiling just on a rope or whatever. You can do that if you want to. But it's kind of hard to stabilize your mic if you do that. So I would recommend more a boom of sorts. There's mic stands and all that kind of, that's my mic stand back here. You know what I mean? That I have with that filter thing behind it, right? I'm gonna show you all that in a minute too, because everybody's not going to be able to afford this, because they actually charge quite a bit of money for this. Okay. So boom. So what did we say? You need a computer, you need a DAW, you need a mic, you need a boom, you need a pop filter. Let's talk a little bit about pop filters, you guys. So I learned that pop filters didn't start as what you call a wind screen. It didn't start as a wind screen. It actually was designed to stop spit from going into old school microphones. Old school microphones and some new school microphones had ribbons in them, and the ribbon was very delicate and fragile. And so here you are, yeah, my nigga, pop, 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 talking all your shit in the mic, spitting all in the mic. Spit is getting on the ribbon and destroyed the ribbon over time. So they invented these to thwart that. And it kind of occurred to everybody, wow, this kind of helps stop what they call plosives. So plosives happen when you say certain letters like k and p and pl and all of that, and it makes peaking and clipping and stuff in your recordings. So those are called plosives, okay? This is my point. This does not stop plosives. It helps you stop plosives, but it doesn't stop them. If I put my face, which all people in hip hop do when they rap, you got to tell them to back up from the mic a little bit, because they put their mouth on the mic damn near to record. You ain't hip hop unless you damn near giving BJ to the mic. That's how we be feeling. Like, oh shit, it's time to rhyme. You like, yo, it's essential. You know what I mean? My mic sharp like a pencil. It's like, damn, dude. Like, can you back up? For one, you got my mouth smelling like, you got my mic smelling like throat, my nigga. You got my mic smelling like throat juice. I don't want to smell that when it's my turn. All right, that's number one. Two, you're making it so the windscreen is not working because you're too close. If you get right up on the windscreen, the plosives are going to go through it anyway, and the P sound is going to still be in there. Yeah, back when they said they was spitting, they really was spitting. Yeah, I ain't nothing. Y'all, those of you who use microphones, y'all ever smelled the stinking ass mic? Ugh, that shit make me want to earl. It makes me want to earl. We talking about COVID too? Is we talking about COVID or what? Get back up from that mic, nigga. Damn. All right. So this doesn't stop the plosives. It helps to stop them. It definitely helps stop the wind and stuff from going across the mic. But the pl pl pl, if you just get too close, it's gonna still be there. All right. Hey, DJ Divine, how you doing? Y'all make sure y'all follow Divine. Hello, girl. Okay. So that's what you want to do. Now, that being said, here's something I learned as a result. You're awesome because you just be yourself and live your truth, your ass, and appreciate you greatly. I love your ass. There we go. I was like, my ass. I love your ass and appreciate you greatly. Thank you. That's what he said. That's what he said. Yes, like walking into the bathroom after someone brushed their teeth. Or something. You ever smelt somebody sneeze? Like somebody will sneeze and kind of not really cover their mouth, and then this is like this spit smell. Ew. Yuck. All right. So yeah, so that's the mic. So here is oh, I'm gonna show you. Well, I'll just show you now. Then I'm gonna show you, we're gonna attach the mic to the table and all that shit. All right, so if you're at the mic, one way, this is something I learned from doing voice acting. I didn't learn this as an MC. I learned this as a voice actor. One way to prevent plosives altogether is to just hit the mic from an angle. Instead of you talking right in it, frontally, 45-degree the mic just a little bit, and allow this much space between your mouth and the mic, okay? And you pretty much won't, right? I can smell your sneeze. Ain't that nasty? And you pretty much won't have any problems with clipping or, you know what I mean, oversaturation of your voice. And you definitely won't have any problems with plosives, okay? So just, again, hit it, just be at a little bit of a 45 and do like that, and make sure you're at least this far away from the mic. And then when we start adding this in there, you can go ahead and put even more. Hey, boo. You can go ahead and put even more space. What's up, Get Down? What's up, Get Down? Y'all make sure y'all follow Get Down. Get Down. I'm available this Sunday, 12 o'clock. Let's get it. Anyway, you want to make sure you got some space. If you put this on here, which we'll talk about in a minute, this adds volume to your voice. So you want to be even further away from the mic if you're using something like this. This makes your voice almost like a shotgun into the microphone, and it adds 1.5 decibels of sound to your voice. All right. So booyaka. All right. So that's what you want to just keep in mind. That's a voice actor's tip. All right. And then obviously, and this is just my thing that I'm going to attach my boom arm to the table with. So let me just do that real quick as you guys say hi to each other a little bit more. Let me move all this crap out of my way. It's jamming my frequencies, Lord. Jamming my frequencies, Lord. Okay, I might as well move my laptop because it's useless. It's useless right now. I can't even show y'all nothing I was gonna show y'all. I was gonna show y'all the real stuff today, but that's all right. I'm gonna have it together next time. All right, so this is just your clip that you're gonna put your boom arm in. You secure it to some kind of table or ledge or whatever. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Boom. Make sure it's nice and tight. It's hot, y'all. I might have to crack this window. What we say in the South, window. Put an L on the back. Hey, Floyd, how you doing? I'm gonna have to just open up this window. Mr. Window, yeah. Tinfoil Media, Grand Awakening. Let's get it. Shit, stay cruising. Hey, y'all. I got the sexies in here. I got the sexies. The sexies. All right, it's nice and tight. That's what she said. And I'm about to put this in here like this. And what you want to do is you want to make sure whatever you're going to use to secure the mic to, that you're not going to also be touching that thing. I mean, it makes sense, but you will be surprised, right? So you don't want to be, now that if this was going to be how I was going to have it set, I don't want to be touching this table anymore. And I don't want to be hitting up against it or even moving around the floor. You don't want the floor. All of that is going to go into the mic, right? Ideally, I would have a spider mount on this, but the spider mount doesn't work well with my thing. So at least my spider mount. Some spider mounts do, but I don't like how it pushes my. I don't like it. Kind of damages my phone to have a spider mount, so I don't have one. I just am careful about not touching the mic or vibrating it in any way. All right. Now let's talk about this. Hey, stay cruising. What it is? And what's up, Fly DJ Eli, Fly DJ Eli. What it is? We also add an S to the end of every store, don't we? You were Stephen Ringer. You a real black person too. We'd be like, yeah, I'm going to the Krogers. I'm going to the Walmarts, the Targets. I'm gonna in a minute. We're gonna talk about accents and shit in a minute though, like how to kind of curtail your accent a little bit to do voice acting because you gotta know how to command your accent a little bit. All right. So anyway, this right here is called a Chaotica eyeball. Right? It's called a Chaotica eyeball. It cost me like 150, fam, 160 or some shit, if I remember it correctly. I got to get gas at the Shells. Shut up, yo. At the Texacos. All right. It has a little hole. It's a very simple. I'm not gonna front. It costs too much, but they're one of the only companies that sell anything like this. The competition company that used to sell this other thing, I forgot what it was. I forgot it was like something. It had some numbers in it. They had a company that was competing with them, and they were making kind of squared off versions of these that were way cheaper. They still were charging like 70 or 80 bucks for the fucking piece of foam, y'all. But it almost eliminates the reason for you to really have a booth. A booth is still nice, but this is a lifesaver. I really like it, and it's well made. I shouldn't have to buy another one ever again, as long as it doesn't set on fire or as long as I don't stab it with a knife or nothing. It's very durable and stuff, but in essence, it's just a circular ass piece of foam, fam. So they're charging way too much for this, but I'm glad I bought it. I don't front me being into graphic design and branding and marketing and all that shit. They marketed this shit like gang. This was dope. It came with a little comic book, like instruction manual. It came with like a comic book. It came in this cool ass box. It was just the way that it was packaged and the way that they market it, second to none. So I'm like, fuck it, y'all. It ain't worth the money I'm spending, but y'all got me. The way y'all are marketing this, I'll buy it, right? So I got rid of the booth. After I got this, I took my whole booth down. First I didn't, but after a while, I was like, I really don't need the booth. I wasn't using the booth for months. I'm like, let me just use this. And this allowed me to make my station portable. So that way I could record in the house wherever I want to record at. Instead of having to record in the stationary booth, I can just makeshift set up anywhere and it still sound good. All right. So this is how you operate it. You just you put this down on here like this. You make sure that the mic is facing frontally, just like that. Where's my lighting? Yeah, this is just a plain ass Audio Technica mic. This joint costs $100. You know what I mean? All right, so see that? Y'all see the mic in there? You want to make sure that the eyeball is not like covering the grill like that. You want to make sure that it's pushed down right over top of the mic like that. Now, you guys, if you don't have this, no big deal. You can record in a closet. You can record somewhere where there's drapes and stuff like that. You can even put a blanket over your head. I've done it. You could put a blanket over your head. And as long as you don't, and put it over you and the microphone, and as long as you don't like rub up against the mic, you can do a decent record. I know that sounds weird, but I've had to do that before because it was like raining one night. I had a voiceover. It was due in like an hour. It was raining hard as hell, and there was nowhere for me to really go in the house to kind of escape the sound. So I went downstairs. Downstairs didn't have the rainy sound, but downstairs is hardwood floor, so it sounded really reverby. So I just put a blanket on my head, and I got a great recording out of that. Right? There is a such thing as soundproofing. You don't want to blanket your closet to absolute death either, because you can actually kind of muffle your voice just a little bit by doing that. You're absorbing too much of the sound, right? So there's a way to do that. So you might want to be a little bit careful with that. But other than that, pretty much blankets and stuff, egg crating and stuff like that, that's fine. You know what I mean? Or whatever. If you don't have this, just use the pop filter and try to sit somewhere that's not like I don't know if y'all can hear how bouncy this sounds now that I'm talking up against the wall. Just pull away from places like this when you record if you don't have something like this. All right, boom. You just put this on, making sure that the microphone is facing the right way inside of here. And you just kind of wiggle it around till it gets in there, till it slides, till it fits inside. There we go. Boom. And now you have it. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's how you do that. All right. And then you just do that. So now that I have this here, the reason, even though this has a filter on it, I've added this. I didn't used to have this up here and I added it back because this will make your voice louder and it colors your voice just a little bit too. It adds saturation. So if you're really into engineering, you don't want that. You want the signal to sound exactly as it sounded coming out of your voice, out of your mouth. And this adds a little bit of color and tone kind of to your voice, which I don't mind as much. I don't mind so much, but it also adds to it makes plosives louder. So if you are talking in the mic and you're like pla pla platypus pla pla punani, is going to be in the, you know what I mean? It's going to be in your recording or whatever. All right. So pull this up right here, and this will help your ass stay further away, because I always tell people, especially when they record hip hop, please pull back. This is louder than you want it to be, fam. But you look over there and they're doing that. And I'm like, I need you to lean back. I need you to lean back just a bit. So this helps them to not forget that, right? They can't get so close because this is here. You know what I mean? All right. But this can record you from really far away, like a shotgun. That's what it's done. It's barreling my voice into this thing now. And anything that's coming from these angles is going to have a hard time getting in here. Okay? Cool. All right. So that's what you do. All right, let me see what else. So what do we say? You need a boom arm, you need a mic, you need ideally, if you can get this, then fine, but for sure you need a pop filter, you need a DAW, you need a computer, you need a place to record, and that is it. An interface. Let's talk about the interface a little bit more real quick. So like I said, I'm using this Focusrite. I have probably about 5 or 6 different interfaces. If you don't have an interface, but you're a DJ and you have a mixer, you can maybe parlay a good voiceover out of that, but it's going to be a lot harder to do that. You can do it, but I wouldn't. I would try to get an interface. I would try to get an interface. For those who don't know what an interface is, it's exactly what it sounds like. I always use this example. We all have VCRs, right? Oh yeah. I'm glad you said that. Okay, so make sure I talk about that too. Thank you, DJ ZK, because that's what's important. That's what's important. Is the one reason why you need this is because you need phantom power. All right, the mic I was showing you earlier, doesn't need phantom power. It doesn't need amperage, right? You just plug the cord in, you plug it into the interface, and that's it. It doesn't need any extra amperage to record you. All right, like a what do they call those? Like an inactive monitor, right? Monitor speakers that don't have any kind of amperage inside of them. You don't have to plug them up. You just have to run the cord through them. But the amperage has to come from whatever you're playing from, instead of it adding amperage, right? Versus a lot of studio monitors and stuff, you plug them into the wall so that they can be amped up, so they can amplify the sound. You know what I mean? Active or passive, that's what it's called. That's right. Come on, nerds, come through, nerds. So it's similar. These mics like this, they're passive mics. They're passive. They don't need any extra amperage, right? No extra voltage and shit. But these do. To be sensitive like they are, they need extra amperage. So you'll find that different audio interfaces, let me show you, and even mixers, some mixers have a button. So this is an old ass crazy interface that I got off eBay long ago. I always go back to this when my shit conks out. It still works. Every blue moon though, it makes me sound like a man. So I don't use it. Like something happens and it'll be like, hey everybody, welcome to my tutorial. I'm Optimus Prime. All right, so there's a button though. See this button? Bow. You hit that button and then it will power your microphone. It would give your microphone power. So if you ever get any of this stuff and you're like, why did she tell me to get an interface and she told me to get a mic and shit and none of it works? You just have to hit the button to activate the mic, right? So right here on the Focusrite, it's this button right here. Okay. Boom. All right. So what an interface is, ladies and gents, is it's a middle point. I gave you power. I made you buck. Wow. Shut up, DJ ZK. Y'all make sure y'all follow ZK, please. All right. So it's a middleman between your computer and all the devices that you have. My best example is a VCR. A VCR is a video audio interface, almost just by default. If you ever look on the back of an old VCR, you'll see a coaxial port. for the coaxial cable, and then you'll see the RCA ports, which are the red, white, and yellow ports. All right. And so that's two different ways that you can bring a signal through the VCR, and then the VCR can translate that signal for you, and put it out to the TV or whatever. So it's the same thing. It's the same exact concept. Here I am out here. I have a guitar, right? I want the guitar to go into the computer. The guitar is analog as shit, is it not? Right? So you need something that's going to translate the signal that the guitar is putting out, send it into the computer, make it digital. That's what this is. That's what this is. That's what this does. But it allows you, now this one is a basic Focusrite, but just like any of these, you can get a massive, you can get one, you need money, but you can get one that has 8, 9, 24, 48, however many, ports you need, because you might be recording a whole band at once or whatever. It also allows you to take many audio signals and bring them in at one time. That's what it also allows you to do. You understand what I'm saying? So interfaces are dope, dope, dope. And they're useful outside of voice acting, because this is something you can use as a streamer, as a DJ, as a content creator, whatever. This is your best friend. It just takes out a lot of and it also gives you separate knobs at which you can make adjustments to your volume. You know what I mean? Because there's, let me see. Hold on for a second. Under here, I should have, let me show y'all something. All right. Look at this. Y'all see this? This is a PHP Phantom power supply by Sterling Audio, and it has an input and output jack for XLR ports, a power jack, and that is it. There's no knobs. I can't turn anything up and down. I can't control the signal at all, right? I can just, but it will provide power. So if I was just in a pinch somewhere and I wanted to do a quick guitar set or some shit, I could plug into this, run out to whatever, whatever speakers or whatever, and I would be good. You know what I mean? And it would provide the phantom power that I needed. And it doesn't, there's no button on it, because this is just a phantom power supply. That's all it does, right? All the way to, where we at? Where's my old ass compressor? I gotta show y'all my compressor that I used to use. And I used to record them overly compressed ass vocals all the time and shit. And I didn't know what I was doing. So we're going to talk in a minute about compression, limiting, gating, and all that stuff too. All right. Anyway, boom. So that's why this is dope. It has individual knobs on it. And then it even has a knob for the monitor, so you can hear your voice as you record or whatever. You can hear it in your headphones. And then here's one for the whole thing, for all the volume and stuff like that. So with this, you can record 2 people. You know what I'm saying? What's also cool about these is this, and I did not know this, y'all, until earlier this year, late last year. I did not know this shit. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. What about the Ridecaster? Explain. I don't really know if I know what that is. Hold on, you guys. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Let me go and let me see. Let me see. And of course, just like any DJ or any engineer, I have chords upon chords upon chords upon chords. Oh my God. Hey, my gosh. Okay. I got so many chords in here. All right. So this is my box of chords. This is one of my boxes anyway. Let me show y'all something real quick. It's simple what I'm trying to show you, but I didn't know this. I didn't know this. Y'all might be like, duh, I knew that. Well, I'm like, well, nigga, I didn't know. All right. So as you know, so this is what you call an XLR port, an XLR plug, right? It has the 3 prongs in it like this, and it goes, it fits securely in these, and you'll hear like a little snap, and it's in there. But what I didn't know, all these years, I didn't know this. These joints that have that little like hole in it like that, you can put these in there too, just like that. And I did not know that. I did not know that. I didn't know that this port was doubling. It was doubling as a head. Like you can put this, the 1/4 inch jack or whatever in here too. And it fits. You hear that? That nice little snap. Bang. Okay. I didn't know that. So just something for you to know. So if you have chords and you're like, I don't have that. I don't have that kind that, where is it? Where did I just put that at? This right here. I don't have that kind like that But do you have this? You're good. If you have this and you have something that has this in it, you're good. Okay? Just wanted y'all to know that. All right, all these goddamn cords. Okay. Let's see what y'all got to say before I move on. My nerds, my G's. I'm listening as a content creator. Great, great, great. Let me bring this down a bit. You are for real educating me. I bought a 12-inch external mixer and I couldn't tell you what all the knobs do. I never knew the difference between the external mixer and the Focusrite. And it took me a long, long time to know the difference between a mixer and an interface too. And then I'm gonna, where is it? Where is it? I have got to produce this thing right now so that I can give you guys this talk about compression and stuff like that. But I had a friend give me a compressor limiter gate like combo thing, right? This old, like, I think was it Roland or somebody made it. And I didn't know. I was like, okay, what's the difference between this, a mixer, and an audio interface? Like I didn't know. I'm like, why do I need all this different stuff? And now I know because I started DJing. I finally understand what a mixer is versus an audio interface. Okay. But what happens is mixers and audio interfaces and stuff, a lot of them have the same they can do a lot of the same things, right? They can do a whole bunch of the same things. So right now, I don't want to mess up my stream by unplugging this, but I have a Behringer mixer down here that I use to just for my just it's hooked up to my computer as with my speakers and stuff. And I just use it to listen to the computer or whatever it is. But it doubles. It's an audio interface too. It's an audio interface, and it allows you to do little lightweight like if you just want to set up somewhere, it's a little portable gray mixer, and I can just kind of set up anywhere and plug little different stuff into it and blah blah blah. And it gives me different controls so that I can mix the audio. So in essence, what a mixer is it allows you to take 4, 5, 6, however many different sources it can handle and sync them together. So if you're in a band, you would run the guitar through one port, you would run the piano through another port, you would run, you know what I mean, the mic through another port, and then that mixer allows you to mix it. Make sense? All right. Versus with the audio interface is more about kind of recording and stuff like that, to me. If you ask me, if you're going to record or something, then you need to get the audio interface, and you're going to do more of the mixing of sounds inside the DAW, not live. But the mixer allows you to live in real time get levels, of many, many different sources synced. Make sense? Okay. So Rodecaster. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't know. I haven't had a need to get any of that stuff. So I don't really know how good everything is. And you guys, they're coming out with new shit every 5 minutes, and it's a lot. Yeah, then there's balances and unbalances. And that does add confusion because I just learned about that recently. I got another mixer, like a bigger mixer in my room that I use in there. And it has a lot more of that stuff on it. And they were like, oh, make sure you don't plug in the unbalance with the balance, and it's going to cause this and that. And I'm like, oh my God. All right. So I'm trying to keep this simple. One thing about me is I'm a simple ass teacher. I like shit to be simple. I'm not trying to confuse nobody because it is confusing, right? You nerds, great. But most people, they're not nerdy. They're just trying to live their lives and do something that makes them happy, that they can feel like they can be good at. And they don't want to have to go to college to do it, right? All right. So that's that. Every 5 minutes. That's right. All right. So I think I've thoroughly went over pretty much what you need to go ahead and get started as a voice actor. All right. Boom, 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 and a DAW. Boom. All right. Next, what we would do is we want to get our microphone hooked up into the computer. Now, this is something that causes some people trouble. And again, it's not a big deal. It's a way of thinking that you have to adapt when you're thinking about audio visual shit. It's kind of really a series of situations where you want to why is it saying that my signal is bad? I don't like that. I don't want to do a bad broadcast. You want to what was I even saying? I don't even know. You guys. I don't even know what I was just talking about. What was I trying to say? Well, don't worry about it. It'll come back to me. So, yeah, setting up your mic. That's what you want to do. So first things first, when you set up a microphone, if you are like, how do I set my microphone up? This is so confusing. Thank you, Grizzly. This is so confusing. Just break it down in your mind like this. You plug in your mic. You open up your DAW and your DAW doesn't see the mic. There's 3 or 4 places where that could have gone wrong, really more, like 10 places. So just at each step, you want to make sure that everything is in place. Thing 1, is your mic hooked up properly, right? Is it plugged in all the way and is it hooked up properly? Thing 2, does the microphone work, right? You know the microphone works. This is how you can tell the microphone. I'm going to go into that stuff with you in a minute. So when you plug it in, first thing is you want to make sure, troubleshooting, that's right. You want to make sure that is the mic signal even getting to my interface? That's this thing 1. Is it going through the cord and actually going into my interface? What I like about these interfaces, I'm not going to be able to really demonstrate this right now, I don't think, because again, if I plug this in, my computer is going to try to add it into the stream and I don't want to mess up the stream in any way. But what happens is when you plug these in and you start talking, this little light, there's a light around this and it lights up. It lights up green. If it turns orange and red, that means you're kind of peaking and stuff. But it lets you know, okay, I see the signal. It's a way to let you know. That's why I like the Focusrite. It lights up. So you know that your voice is going through it and at least making it into here, right? So that's step 1. Is my microphone even going into the interface at all? You see it lighting up or whatever, you know it is, right? Next, is it going from the interface into the computer, right? There's a way to check that. I'm going to go into that in a minute. Then if you see that it is going into it is indeed going into the computer, is it going into the DAW? Does the DAW see it, right? Does Pro Tools see the microphone? That's pretty much what you want to know. Is my mic working? Does my audio interface see my microphone? Is my microphone seen by my computer? Is my microphone seen by my DAW? All right. Let me show you actually on screen now how you can work that out. Okay. So what you would do is this. What you would do is this. Share screen. Share screen. Yep. All right. Why is it doing that? What's been going on with my stuff lately? Like, that's what she said. Why is it doing that? Man, come on, fam. Is that doing that for y'all too? It's like flickering. Is it flickering? Damn it. All right. I'm having some troubles today. Let me remove this. Let's remove this altogether. Stop screen. I'm hot about this. This is really giving me the blues right now. Flashy dreads. Yeah, that's me. That's me turned to the side there. Let me share screen. Maybe no, I need to do entire screen here. Let's try it one more time. See if it works. Can y'all still even hear me now? Because now it's telling me that StreamYard Google Chrome is not responding. Oh my God, in heaven. Come on, fam. Talk to me, y'all. What's happening? Because it's telling me like my screen is kind of grayed out now, and it's telling me that it can't. You can hear me? Can you still see me? Aw. I'm not in the mood for this. I am not in the mood for this. Damn it. And it's just not doing anything. It's just sitting here like, oh, it's not responding. I'm like, well, can you start? You see me live. Okay, that's good. See and hear me. Okay, cool. It's just that I can't do the things. I can't press the buttons. Like, I don't want to close this out because I think it's going to mess up the stream. Oh, man. All right. Well, I mean, I want to thank you. Thank you guys for hey, Kickstand, how you doing? But it's like now I can't see me at all. I have this thing up in front of me that's making it so I can't talk. I can't do the stuff I normally would do. Man, doo-doo sticks. This is whack. This is actually whack, yo. I'm not going to front. I might end up restarting this stream on y'all. Y'all have to promise me that y'all will come right back. I might have to restart my stream because I'm glad y'all can hear me, but I can't interact with you guys. I can't see what you're saying or anything now. Ay. Let me see something. Maybe I can open up a new tab. I know I'm live. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all's feedback and everything. Give me a second. I'm going to open up a secondary tab and see if I can Tricket. Google Chrome. What, new window? Talk to me. It's being so whack. Oh my God. I never had problems like that with this program. What is the problem? Oh, I hate it. Nothing I'm doing is working. All right, give me one more try, then I'm gonna have to restart the stream, you guys. Fuck. That's what I get for having such a dirty mouth. Chrome doesn't like all this cussing that I be doing. Open. Nah, ain't nothing I can do about this. It's not fixing itself. It's not responding. All right. I can't even hit the refresh button. It's not available to me anymore. Chrome not responding. Wait for the program to respond. Nope. All right, you guys, if you guys could kindly hang around and just refresh your screens in a moment, I'm going to close this tab out and open it back up, and hopefully it'll be operating properly. But just come back in a few minutes if I'm not right back. Just stay on deck. All right. I appreciate y'all. Close the program. Hey, hey, hey. Okay. What is it doing now, though? Like, why is it showing? I know. What is happening here? What is going on? Like, this is great. This is insane. This is actually insane. Boom. Woo wee. Thank you guys. All right. Patty, thank you. You guys, thank you. All right. So I'm a little scared to try to share the screen again because that's what made it happen before. But I want you guys to see what I'm saying. So I'm going to try it again. I'll try it again one more time. And hopefully it won't be all shaky like that. Share. Yay! All right. So this is what you would do, you guys. You would go, you're not going to be, this is my secondary screen, so you're not going to be able to see what I'm saying. But if you're on Windows, I don't know how to do this on a Mac, so I'm sorry. But you will go to whatever your audio mixer is on your computer. So in my case, I will go down here to that little search box that's in the corner of Windows. I would type audio, maybe audio settings. It'll show me some possible tabs. Oh, I type sound settings or audio settings. So this is sound settings. Let me open that up real quick. Okay, I'm going to bring it over here so you can see it. So this is the sound settings menu. And then I don't know if you can see it, but over here, right here, it says sound control panel. All right, you would click on sound control panel. And this is Windows 10, okay? But this is on all Windows, right? You have this same capability. Now we don't really need this one anymore, so we can close it. This is the sound control panel. So what happens is whenever you plug anything into a computer, your computer is like, okay, like for instance, when you go live, right? When you go live, your computer is saying to you, it wants to know, like OBS wants to know, what sources do you want to display right now? These are the sources. What source do you want me to show? So it's the same thing. This sound window here, it has like everything that's plugged into my computer. It knows it, and I tell it what I want to be the default communications and what I want to be the default device, period. Okay, so this is the playback tab. This is the recording tab. You would click on the recording tab, and then you would find your mic, and you would see if the mic is active. See right here, it says microphone, USB condenser microphone, default device. If you want to set the microphone as the default, meaning when you plug this microphone in, if there are other mics present, which there are, because I have a webcam up. Webcams have microphones on them too. So there's the webcam mic, then there's this mic, right? Those are the two mics that are plugged into my computer right now. And even a lot of times computers have an onboard mic as well. Like laptops almost always do. There's a mic inside of the laptop as well. That's usually called the Realtek. The Realtek microphone, that's like the sound card that's in my computer, right? So if you have a Realtek, If you want the microphone to be pulling from the actual microphone that's in the computer, you would pick the Realtek one. If you wanted to pull from the webcam mic, you would pick the webcam. So this says HD web camera disabled. Then HDP webcam, because I have two webcams. Disabled, right? Realtek microphone not plugged in. Then it says line in, Realtek audio not plugged in, stereo mix. None of that is relevant to me. All I care about is this mic. This is the mic that I want everyone to hear. This is called the USB condenser mic. And as you can see, there's the signal. It's going up and down as I'm talking, la, la, la. I can right click on it. It'll take me to a menu, properties. You click properties, and then you can go over here and click levels, right? So my microphone is turned to 92%. I can turn it all the way down like this. I can turn it all the way up to 100, right? But, you know, pick a set place for your microphone to be inside the computer, and then try not to deviate from that, right? So I'll just keep it at 100 and use the other stuff to adjust my microphone. So this is one place where I can adjust the volume of my mic. If this mic was going through this interface right here, that's another place I can adjust the volume of my mic. And then even when I go into the DAW, that is yet another place where I can adjust the volume of my mic. So you have a lot of controls here. All right. But if it's not the default device, then you right click on it and then you would put set as default device. Okay. That's it. And so if you want to test it, you can right click again. You can hit properties, you can hit listen, right? And it'll record you talking and play it back for you real quick, right? So you know that it's working. So that's how you troubleshoot when you're trying to set up a microphone. You're trying to make sure your microphone is being seen by at every step of the way, by the interface, by the computer, by the DAW. All right. So unfortunately, I don't use this computer to do any recording, so I don't have any kind of DAW on this computer. I don't hardly have any space on this computer. Computer is very fast, but it doesn't have a lot of space. So I can't show you guys what I was going to show you when you get into the DAW, right? So you open up Cakewalk, and then there's these little like menus on it, and you can say, hey, like, what is the master speak? What is the master? Like the master, whatever. That's where you're going to tell it like what speakers you want it to come out of. You know what I mean? Like, do you want this to play through headphones, or do you want it to play through this speaker or that speaker? The computer and the DAW will recognize when you plug things in. If it's an audio device, it's like, oh, like for instance, every time I plug my Cakewalk up in, I mean my Focusrite into Cakewalk, Cakewalk brings this message up on the screen. It says, you just plugged in a new audio device. Do you want to apply this device to your project or whatever, blah, blah, blah? You say yes or no. See how that works? Okay. Boom. So this is what you want to do. You just want to be familiar with how computers work. Sometimes it seems complicated, and it really, really isn't. It really isn't. Your computer is reading the different devices that are plugged into it. And if it recognizes them, it'll display them in that little window right there. If it doesn't recognize them, it'll never show up in there. So sometimes it's just that your microphone is unrecognizable or your interface is unrecognizable by your computer. If that's the case, sometimes you need to install drivers. All right. There's certain drivers that you might need. Maybe there's updated drivers. You might be using an older interface or whatever. And so that's that. A lot of this stuff comes with inbound drivers, so you don't have to go and download them yourself, or they'll come with like a CD or something that you can plug in and get the drivers off that. Okay. That's that. So if it doesn't see your mic, then you know that either something's wrong with the mic or something's wrong with the drivers. If the interface sees your mic but the computer doesn't, then yeah, there's probably something wrong with the interface drivers or whatever. All right, make sense? Okay, cool. Now that you know that your voice is going through the thing, now what? So you're ready to record, you're all set up. Now what, y'all? All right. Let's talk about what you would do. Excuse me. Boom, boom, boom. Let me open this back up. No, thanks. Okay. All right. So your mic is set up. We went through all of that. We talked about the interface thoroughly. Get you some decent headphones. I would recommend getting headphones that don't add anything. So don't get dynamic headphones, get monitor headphones. What monitor means, when you see that word, it means it's pretty much it's playing the signal back to you exactly as it sounds. It's not adding any bass, it's not adding any mids, it's not doing it's so Audio-Technica makes a nice pair of monitor headphones that I would invest in. It doesn't have to be Audio-Technica though, but for sure, look it up, because since I bought my headphones, these companies have come out with way more headphones than this. So look up and see what the standard is and what a good pair of headphones for audio engineers is and what it'll run you, and try to get that, right? But don't get headphones that add bass and add treble and stuff to your mix, because plenty of headphones do that. You want to get ones that don't add anything. That way when you're engineering, you know the exact signal. You know what I mean? You don't want it to be telling, you don't want the thing to be telling you lies. And so you think it sounds better than it does. And so it's going to affect how you EQ it and everything, right? Really, in voice acting, you don't want to be doing but so much EQing anyway. Okay, cool. So then what I do, everything's set up, I have everything hooked up. I get my script, right? I get my script in front of me. Thing one is you want to have a set place that you have your script every time you read a voiceover. You don't want to be reading the voiceover like this one day and then like this another day and then like this another day. And you can understand why, right? What happens is the customers always want revisions. They usually want revisions. And so they're like, this sounds great. And then sometimes, a lot of times it's their fault. They didn't tell you how to pronounce this weird name. And so you just gave it a good stab of what you thought it should be pronounced like. And then it's not pronounced that way. And then they go, this voiceover is great. We just need you to repronounce this name because this doesn't sound right. So now you have to go back in, and you don't want to re-record the whole thing. You just want to do a punch in, a patch up, right? You don't want the patch job to sound like a damn patch job. You know how when you got when people wear a blazer jacket, and they got like elbow patches right there, and it's obvious that, it's like, okay, these are elbow patches. Bang. You don't want it to be like that. You want it to be seamless, where they can't tell that you went in and added this thing. So it might be like you might were mispronouncing, and Antonio. You might was like Antonia and Antonia, and they're like, no, it's pronounced Antonio, right? So you go back and now you're reading, and it's like, the first time Antonia went to 7-Eleven, like the first time Antonio went to 7-Eleven, da da da. You don't want it to sound like patchwork. You know what I mean? You want it to sound seamless. One way, hey, Midnight Dynamite, one way you can achieve that is to make sure that you have your head in the same place every time you do a voiceover, right? So try your best to have it, and it's not going to be like that every time, but you want to, the same with your settings. You don't want to have all over the place settings. One time you record, you turn the knob like this. Next time you record, you turn the knob like that. Try to have the same knob turns, have the same settings every time you record. So pick out good settings too. Pick out good settings and settle in those settings, because you don't want the recordings to be all over the place. Does that make sense? All right. All right. Y'all with me? Okay, cool. All right. So that's thing one. Determine how you're going to have everything and stick to it. All right. So normally when I record in my room in there, I I use the secondary screen to have my I use the secondary screen to put my script on, and that way I know my mouth is going to be at that 45 angle that I was talking about, and it's going to always be like this every time I record. Okay? Cool. Boom. Boom. Now, and I've gotten used to being a sit down person. I sit down when I DJ, and I sit down when I do voiceovers. Ideally, just like in singing, you want to be standing. One reason why, but you don't have to be. You don't have to be standing. That's right, tinfoil consistency, right? You don't have to be standing, but it does help. So, under your titties and stuff is your diaphragm, right up in here. And every time you breathe, and every time like when you get the hiccups, your diaphragm is off. Hey, how you doing? Von Rent? All right. Garura Nika. So those of y'all see me talking to someone and you can't tell who I'm talking to, that's because I'm up on YouTube as well. So some of these people are on YouTube. You see what I'm saying? But as you're talking, sorry, y'all, I didn't titty action here, but as you're talking, the diaphragm is going up and down. When you get hiccups, your diaphragm has kind of gotten off rhythm, and that's why you have hiccups. That's why you drink water and stuff or hold your breath to try to reset the rhythm of your diaphragm or whatever. So it's the same way with standing up versus sitting. If you're standing, you can just pull from your diaphragm a lot better. You can kind of project it just a little bit better. But I'm so used to doing voice. I did the first year and a half, I did only standing. But the way my room is set up now, it's just not conducive anymore to me standing up. So everything is kind of down low, and it's just hard for me. It's a lot harder for me to do everything because of the way I have my room set up now. But it's all good. I know how to do it where it doesn't sound like I'm saying standing or sitting. It just sounds good, right? Okay. But that's just a little tip. If you want to optimize your voice, stand up. All right, cool. You sick? What you talking about? What you talking about? Who you talking to? All right, cool. So let me see. So you're gonna get your script out. Um, it's better to read from paper than it is. It's easier and better sometimes to read from paper. However, you end up wasting a lot of paper. Like I said, I was printing up my voiceovers for a long time, and after a while, so I get so much work, so I had a stack of them, and I used to like to print them out because then I would write the due date, I would write the client, I would write the due date, and any notes that I needed, I would write it all on the one paper. I would pin it up on the wall, and then it kept reminding me when shit was due and stuff, and it was dope. But I wasted a lot of paper like that. You know what I mean? So I stopped doing that. Okay. Um. Oh, you talking about the name Antonio? Oh, your name is Antonio? That's crazy. Well, it's not crazy though. How you doing, Antonio? What's the chances that I would pick that name out? What is the chances? But y'all know I got special woman powers. All right. Okay, cool. So going forward, let's keep going forward. All right. So now you have it set up. You got your script in front of you. I usually read from the screen. Every blue moon, I read from my phone, but it's still make sure it's the same way every time. I go to my DAW, I open it up. I make sure that the microphone is visible. I make sure the mic is armed. I can't tell you how many times that I did a recording and I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So I just did a really, really good take. I did a really, really good recording and it wasn't recording. So just make sure it's recording. Make sure it's armed, or whatever. You arm it and then you're going to do the recording. When you do the recording, a few things before you get started. You also want to make sure that your voice is ready. Sometimes when you wake up, your voice isn't ready. Now, a few tips about this. Again, if you want to sound younger, make your voice higher and speak quicker. If you want to sound older, speak slower and make your voice lower. Whenever they book me to do jobs where the audience is going to be elderly people, they always, they want me to speak slower and they want me to kind of bring the tone of my voice, the pitch of my voice down just a bit, because older people, as you get older, everyone on earth, as you get older, your voice gets deeper, right? It gets a little bit deeper. And obviously youth is associated with a high voice. It's also associated with speaking quickly, right? So these are stereotypes, but they're pretty much based in truth, okay? So that's something to note. Why am I saying that? If you are a smoker, and you have been hired to do a voiceover for Twitch family, are y'all still there too? Are y'all still there? Because I notice I don't see any Twitch comments right now, and I want to make sure everyone's still there, because when I reset, I'm only seeing YouTube. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you. All right. So when you do a voiceover and you're gonna, maybe you have to sound like a little bit older, and you know that you smoke weed or whatever it is, instead of trying to clear your throat that morning, you might want to let the voice be gravelly. Let the voice sound that way. Sometimes people want me to do urban voiceovers, right? Thank y'all. I love y'all. Sometimes people want me to do urban voiceovers where they want me to sound a little bit more like, I don't know, like that black woman voice. You know what I mean? That little bit of that texture that we can kind of have in our voices. If you're going to be doing that, then you want to make sure that maybe you don't have to clear your voice as much, right? But if it's going to be a commercial type of voiceover, if you want to sound young, you're going to ask, what is an urban Midnight Dynamite? You don't know what an urban voiceover is. Let me give you an example. Now, unfortunately, the script, because I don't have a bunch of scripts in front of me. Yeah, I do. Hold on. I actually do have scripts. I have hundreds of scripts in this computer. But when this computer didn't work, I'm like, the hell with this. Let me see. Hold on. Downloads, documents. So, like, for instance, a lot of anti-cigarette commercials have an urban voiceover being done over top of them. Like those truth.com joints or whatever. Those are urban, where you have somebody who is not speaking like super proper English, and they're using, hey, LMR Prosper, how you doing, fam? They're not speaking super proper English, and they're kind of speaking sporty almost, you know. Let me see. I know what I'm gonna do. Next time I do one of these, I'm gonna pick out voiceovers I've done and just play them for you. That way I can demonstrate. All right, but let me use the shea butter. I'm just gonna use the shea butter over and over to help you. Some of these aren't written in an urban way either. Okay, I'm gonna try to do it with the I'm gonna do it with the shea butter. So this is how I would read it commercially. No. I'm gonna do it with this stuff right here, this lavender like hand soap. Okay. So this is how you sound if you just want to read it straightforward and commercially. All right. Dr. Jacobs natural Castile soaps are made with an assortment of natural ingredients that produce a mild and creamy lather, making them safe to use on even the most sensitive skin. Our soaps are even gentle enough for baby's delicate skin. Of course, I wouldn't do it like that at the end, right? This is how I would kind of urbanize that. Dr. Jacobs' natural Castile soaps are made with an assortment of natural ingredients that produce a mild and creamy lather, making them safe to use on even the most sensitive skin. Our soaps are even gentle enough for baby's delicate skin, right? So I'm just speaking more like the way I speak, and I'm not trying to, it's subtle, but it's a difference in kind of like volume, pacing. Now, this particular voiceover, I can't really effectively give you that urban feeling because I'm not saying urban shit. A lot of voiceovers are written urban so that it lends itself towards that kind of talking. But it's just like, at McDonald's, we make the nastiest fries. You just kind of talk like that. Instead of at McDonald's, we make the nastiest fries. You know what I mean? Kind of like that. Hopefully that was a good example. All right. But there's a way to read things where you just have a more casual, a little more, yeah, like you said, a little bit more slang, not putting the endings quite on the words as much and stuff like that, and just letting it be a little more natural and casual, and with a little bit of pep. Okay. Cool. So my point is about saying all that, know in advance kind of what the voiceover is, and the client's going to tell you. They're going to say, "Oh, I want this to sound," because I have them fill out something when they get in there. So I ask them the pacing and tone that they want it to be read in. So I know exactly kind of what they're looking for. So they check these boxes, and it could say sexy, sultry, tantalizing. It could say, warm, calm, soothing, ASMR type voice. It can be, then you do like guided meditations. That's something where, you're going to do, because I've done quite a few meditational joints. People hire me for that all the time because of the nature of my voice. You're really going to slow it down and you're really going to put that breath in it. You know what I mean? So let's say this was a meditation. Just assume this is a meditation, right? Dr. Jacobs' natural Castile soaps are made with an assortment of natural ingredients that produce a mild and creamy lather, making them safe to use on even the most sensitive skin. Our soaps are even gentle enough for baby's delicate skin. Castile soap is very versatile, blah, 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 right? So I just slow it way, way down and get kind of even whispery a little bit, right? I use that voice on you guys when I DJ. If I'm in that kind of mood, I use it on y'all on purpose. I use it as a weapon, right? A woman weapon. All right. So that's how that works. So you're gonna want to know in advance before you do the voiceover, what does the customer want? And I know you're probably like, well, duh, I'm gonna see what the customer wants and I'm gonna do that. You'll be surprised. You're ready to record. They sent you the script. Sometimes you just download the script and just start recording. And it's like, no, let me go in here and see what they said, right? Um, and they'll tell you, no, I want this to be a little more upbeat. I want this to be casual. I want this to, and then I also ask them who's the audience. So if they say the audience is elderly people, men and women, then I kind of already know that I'm not going to be speaking like I'm speaking now. I'm not going to be like Castile soaps are the best. Blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna slow it down, right? Unless there's a time limit, right? So then you want to check for that too before you start recording. If there is a time limit, you go into your DAW, you go into Pro Tools or wherever, and you set a marker for 30 seconds, 15 seconds. Usually, if there's a time limit, it's 30 or 15 seconds, right? Sometimes they want 5 seconds, or 60. So standard 15, 30, and 60 are the time limits that most voiceovers have if there is a time limit. Okay. You set a marker. Now, you don't want to rush and try to record the whole thing in the 30 seconds. You just want to get a good recording and then you can edit it down to 30 seconds. Sometimes you'll find that the client has not estimated well how much they can fit in a 30-second slot. So they'll give you a voiceover and you can't fit it in 30 seconds. Don't panic. Do the best you can to fit it in 30 seconds. Read quickly And then they'll see, okay, she was reading fast and she still couldn't fit it into 30 seconds. You deliver the voiceover to the client and you just let them know, hey, unfortunately, I was not able to fit this in the 30-second slot. Even when I read it my fastest, I was only able to fit it in a 31 or 33-second space. If you want, let me know what you want me to do about this, if anything. Otherwise, here's your voiceover, blah, blah, blah. And they always understand that, okay, that's not the voice actor's fault. That's my fault. Sometimes it is your fault, though. You're not reading fast enough. You're not reading fast enough. You just need to read a little bit faster. Okay. So my point is, consider the nature of the voiceover before you go to record. It's going to make you do a better voiceover right from the beginning. Don't record and then go back and look. You go to deliver it to the client and then you realize that they had all these parameters that you didn't follow. Okay. Make sure you know what they want before you record. Boom. Now it's time for you to record. If you're just waking up, you need to brush your teeth. You need to drink some water. If you want to wake your palate up, which I would suggest drinking more than water. Also drink something that has something sweet in it or even salty. It's going to wake your palate up. It's going to get you actually salivating and stuff like that and wake up your mouth, right? Another thing you want to do before you record is to wake up your brains. I like to put an S on the back. You want to wake up your brains, right? Like you got two brains, like Yakub, right? You're going to wake your brains up. How do you do that? However way you do it. Reading aloud will do that. So you could just get the script and read it aloud a few times. Your brain will wake right up. I get on my phone and I play Clash Royale or I play Clash of Clans. It wakes me up in just a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. My brain is awake and now I can pronounce the words, right? What else? Get rid of mucus if you can. If you have a real mucusy sounding voice, from eating, some cheese and pizza and stuff the night before, ice cream, you're probably going to have a mucusy sound in your voice. You don't want to sound like you're underwater recording, the voiceover. So to get rid of that, you can take certain herbs and, it'll help you spit it out. But mainly, you can just drink some tea with some lemon, some honey and stuff like that. Some lemon. You can eat a grapefruit. The grapefruit will extract the glah, glah, glah out of your throat. With no R, your throat. You understand? All the glub glub out of your throat. Boom. Now you're ready to do the voiceover. So what you would do, so let's take the shea butter and do it. Now, the shea butter is a good example. I think, is this a good example? No, it was, I think this one, the book. The book, good bong hit gets you going in the morning. That's right. And see, I like to wake and bake. If you wake and bake, then that's another thing. If you have a voiceover, then consider that. Like, you can chief while you edit the voiceover. But if you chief right before you do the voiceover, fam, you're about to do a bad voiceover. And not only that, you're going to think it sounds good. And you're going to hear it later and you're going to be like, I sound like I am naked under the covers. Is coffee bad for morning voice? No, it's not bad. It's not bad. Not bad at all. For one, it's going to wake your brain up. That caffeine and stuff is going to wake your brain up. So that's good. Coffee, I got coffee right now. I don't really drink a lot of coffee. I use it kind of more like medicinally. Like I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. So that's why I'm drinking coffee. I don't have to have it. You know what I mean? So it works on me pretty well because I don't drink it that much. But no, it's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. It'll soothe your voice enough, especially depending on what you put in it. Y'all got to realize too, sugar is when liquid hits syrup. When liquid hits sugar, it becomes syrup. So that syrupy coating going across your throat, pause, is gonna help your throat, no matter what drink it's in. But particularly if it's in a warm drink like coffee, yeah, it's gonna make your voice feel real nice. You know what I mean? This book, the way this is written on the back, this has a run-on sentence, a huge run-on sentence that it starts with. So run-on sentences can be very challenging. Just break it up. All right. So let me give you an example of what I would do here. And bearing in mind, this is my first time reading this, so I'm not going to read it that well right at first. So it says the book, A History of the African American Olmec. So already look how long the title of the book is. The book, A History of the African Olmecs, Black Civilizations of America from Prehistoric Times to the Present Era, is one of the most fascinating, well-researched, and well-written books on the subject of the Black and Black African presence in prehistoric and ancient Americas, right? So that's a very long sentence. So you see the way I read it? I just broke it up. Even if there are no commas there, just put them there. Put the commas there. And then if it doesn't read righteously, this book is amazing. A History of the African Olmecs in like America and stuff. Really, really good book. Really good book. Yep. Hard to find this book too. We met the guy that wrote it. That's how we got it from him personally. He signed it, but it's by Paul Alfred Barton, and it's about the black folks that was in America before the Columbus times. But it really gets into it, right? It's not like some fly by night. This person, what they weren't playing. For one, they followed in the footsteps of Ivan Van Sertima. I think even studied under him briefly, you know what I mean, or whatever. So yeah. But anyway, that was a long ass sentence, right? So you want to break it up if there are no commas, because some people will give you, especially training videos, training when people want to use your voice for a training course that they're using at the job and has all that technical jargon and stuff. They love to use run-on sentences that no one would naturally say in conversation. So you have to make it sound more natural by breaking it up yourself. All right. So let me read the whole thing and then we'll go back. Right. So the book. Now there's a comma here. That's why I'm pausing. The book, A History of the A History of the African Olmecs. So if you see how I keep starting over, that's what you want to do. Don't, if you mess up, I'm not saying you have to start over from the beginning, but you have to consider that you're going to edit this later. You don't want it to sound piecemeal. You want it to sound like it was just read in one swap. But the only way you can do that is if you allow the breath for that. It's hard for me to explain that. All right. The book, A History of the African, I keep wanting to say African American. The book, A History of the African Olmecs, Black Civilizations of America from Prehistoric Times to the Present Era, is one of the most fascinating, well-researched, and well-written books on the subject of the Black and Black African presence in prehistoric and ancient Americas. Right? So what you want to do when you're reading a voiceover is you want to get the point so that when you inflect your voice, the inflection matches the point. Okay? This is what I mean. So the book. So now I have to swing the whole title of the book before I swing the inflection. So the book, A History of the African Olmecs, Black Civilizations of America from Prehistoric Times to the Present Era, pause. Now I'm going to swing my inflection, is one of the most fascinating, well-researched, and well-written books on the subject of the Black and Black African presence in prehistoric and ancient Americas. So I'm running out of breath. So what I would then do if I was recording this is I would just start from that comma, that final comma is one of the most is one of the most fascinating, but I'm going to load my breath back up. Is one of the most fascinating, well-researched, and well-written books on the subject of the Black and Black African presence in prehistoric and ancient Americas. This book deals with the current and past findings on the ancient African nations of the Americas. It also studies so you see how I did that too? In the Americas. Then I said it also studies That's that and kind of swing to the voice, right? So instead of me saying it also studies present day descendants of these ancient, I said it also studies, right? I'm gonna put a little emphasis on also. Same up here. Y'all notice when I was reading this, I said well researched and well written. You see how I'm doing that with my hands like that? Thanks for the cheer, fly, DJ Eli. Do y'all see how I'm doing that with my hands? Read it and be it, inflect it. Don't just read it, act it out a little. You're gonna find that when you listen to it, it just sounds better. Sometimes the director will say, "Hey, can you say that again, but with a smile?" That means if you actually smile when you're reading it, they can hear it. You can hear the pleasantry in the reading if you say it with a smile. You know what I mean? So you want to put your in it when you're saying it. It's just perfect example. When people do sign language, you don't just do sign language, you act out sign language. If you're talking, you ever notice a person speaking sign language? They'll smile and frown and everything while they're doing it because they're putting the emotion, just like you would if you were talking. You're putting the emotion in what you're saying. So they're doing, signing, and then they'll smile like, because they're talking about something happy, la 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 la. Then they, now like, you know what I mean? Like now they're doing like that with their face. Do you see what I'm saying? It's the same way when you do a voiceover. You have to put your whole energy in it so it'll sound a certain way. All right. It also studies present day descendants of these ancient Africans and places attention on the ancient transatlantic the ancient transatlantic as well as the trans-Pacific ocean route by boat. All right. So again, and is a perfect place to swing your voice. I'm going to read that sentence again, and I want you to listen to how I use and. Okay. It also studies present day descendants of these ancient Africans and places attention on the ancient transatlantic as well as, see what I'm doing? And places attention on blah, 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 as well as blah, 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 blah. So these are little like points, almost like checkpoints. If you play video games, these are checkpoints where you can kind of swing the voice and keep the person interested in this long ass sentence that you're saying. You feel what I mean? All right, I think you guys know. Same way if you were going to say but, right? So let me make up a sentence with but in it. And not booty either, but like B-U-T. You know, I want to go to the prom, but I also want to go to the movies. Now let's say that with some soul. I want to go to the prom, but I also want to go to the movies. You see how I did that? So I want to go to the prom, but I also want to go to the movies. I want to go to the prom, but I also want to go to the movies. You see the difference? Okay. So that, and I'm not saying every time you see the word and that you have to accent it. You don't. But just look at it. It's a conjunction. You know what I mean? Conjunction, junction. What's your function? Hooking up words and phrases and clauses. He might have said verbs. Conjunction, junction. What's your function? I got three and get most of my job done. And that's an additive like this and that. But that's a whatever he said. But not this, but that. You know what I mean? Then there's or, you know, da da da. So conjunctions help you when you're trying to get through a long ass stupid sentence. Because one thing that happens a lot is the people who write these things, they're not all good writers. Some of them are horrible writers. They're horrible at spelling. They're horrible at grammar. Some of them are from other countries and they don't know how to do whatever. If you encounter like little typos and stuff in the script, don't read it. You know, you can tell that that they didn't mean to write that. Just read it. Read what you thought they meant to put there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Schoolhouse Rock has come back for these kids today. I showed my children that the whole time they were growing up, and I loved it. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. So let me read the whole thing now. So the book, A History of the African Olmecs Black Civilizations of America from Prehistoric Times to the Present Era, is one of the most fascinating, well-researched, and well-written books on the subject of the Black and Black African presence in prehistoric and ancient Americas. This book deals with the current and past findings on the ancient African nations of the Americas. It also studies present-day descendants of these ancient Africans and places attention on the ancient transatlantic as well as the trans-Pacific ocean route by boat. The book discusses the plight of the Black Washita Nation of Louisiana and the South, who lost most of their ancient kingdom during the Louisiana Purchase. The plight. So again, that word says plight. So I don't want to read it pleasant. I want to make it sound like it's a plight, right? The plight of California's Black Californians, the Black Yamasee of Georgia, and the Black Caribs, Garifuna of the Caribbean is examined. The great Black civilization of the Olmecs and their connection in terms of language, religion, race, and culture with the West Africans is discussed, right? So now that's one read through. What I would do is I would read this many, many times. By the time I'm done reading it, I should have 3 or 4, takes, 2 of which should be usable. You know what I mean? This is pretty short. So what I would probably do is give my client more than one take, right? Because it's no skin off my back. It just makes me look good, right? I read more than one take anyway, trying to get it right. So then I would probably send them 2 of the takes so they can have a little bit to choose from. If you're going to send them more than one take, make sure the takes are distinct from one another and they don't just sound like the same take over and over, right? If you're going to give them one take, like let's say I wanted to give them one take where I read it more like this. The book, A History of the African Olmecs Black Civilizations of America from Prehistoric Times to the Present Era, is one of the most fascinating, well-researched. So see, I'm reading that with like energy and passion. Or I would give them another take where I'm like, the book, A History of the African Olmecs Black Civilizations of America from blah, blah, blah. So it's more than, hey, Augusta, how you doing, baby? And thanks for the cheer. Y'all give, I love you. This is unique. Thank you. You're beautiful. Look at this. All right, you guys. So y'all see what I'm saying? Boom. Play around with it. That's what she said, right? All right. So cool. Let me see. What else do I want to say about this? Okay. Let me see. Okay, plug everything up, turn on your computer, print or load your script, make your script hands-free, open up your DAW, eliminate all noises from the room, test the mic, arm the mic, have a drink handy. Yeah, have a drink handy. Get to know your voice. Do good hygiene in the morning, tea, water, food, herbs. We talked about that. We talked about warming up by talking. We talked about warming up your brain, practicing the script. When you're practicing, I always recommend to record even the practice part, because sometimes the practice part is the best. You're practicing, but you read it perfect the first time. So you want to record that first take if you can. All right. So let me just read. I'm gonna read from my course that I've been writing. All right. I'm gonna read from my course. Matter of fact, I think I'll share the screen. Yeah, Voom today. All right. Okay. So let me see. There are many different ways to approach recording your script. To figure out the best, most efficient way is key. You don't want recording to take all day and night. Time is money. And even though each job is different, you still want to develop a standardized method for completing consistent, quality voiceovers. However, you don't want to rush and do a bad job. Look at your script and see how it is written and arranged. Is it long? That's what she said. Is it short? That's what she said. Are the sentences quick and to the point, or long run on sentences? Is the script wordy and full of tongue twisters, or is it easy to pronounce most of the words? Is the script all crammed together, or is it chunked up into many paragraphs? Answering these questions will help you determine the best recording method. All right? Because you want to use a little bit of a different method if the script is short. You want to use a different method if the script is long. Why am I saying that? This Shea Butter script is short, right? I can read this over and over in just a few minutes. So that allows me to really get into the nuances of every little word I'm saying. But if this was a long 6,000 word script, 10,000 word script, training video, whatever, and has all these sections and you're reading page and page and pages and pages, you just want to find a good standard way to read everything that satisfies. You don't want to try to sexify every little word, because this is a long ass script and you're not trying to be there all night. But you don't want it to sound like you're just a robot reading either. You understand what I'm saying? So you want to determine that. So this is what I wrote for long scripts. If the script is long and wordy and chunked into many paragraphs, then recording the script one paragraph at a time is probably best. In this scenario, you would read each paragraph 2 to 4 times, or as many times as needed to get a good take. Then you would move on to the next paragraph until the entire recording is complete. Now, when I say move on, I mean you would record, like, so let's say this is one paragraph in this long ass script, right? So I would record this one paragraph, then I would literally stop my microphone. I would stop recording, right? Then I would hit record again to do the next paragraph. This allows you to easily just edit each paragraph. Edit, because what happens is if you record a long script and you do it all in one take, because I've done that before, not one take, but I've done recordings of things that were really many pages long, like 10 pages long. And I stood there and I never stopped recording, and I recorded the whole thing. So now once I hit stop, the computer has to render all that audio, which takes a long time. Then when it's finished, there's no visual cues to help me know where each paragraph is at. Some voice actors clap between each part. So you read paragraph, paragraph 1, and you clap like that. So when you're looking on the recording, you'll see this sharp spike right there, and you know that represents that first paragraph. Okay, I'm done reading that. Boom. Or you might say, part 1, part 2, or you might even say paragraph break or whatever. So that way when you go to edit it, you don't want to get overwhelmed. It's very easy to get overwhelmed while you're editing. You look and you see all this shit you have to cut through, and you're like, oh my God. But if you paragraph it up, it won't feel nearly like that. It won't feel nearly, you'll get through it and it'll make sense to you, right? Okay. I also recommend that if you have many sections, part 1 or chapter 1, you're recording chapter 2, whatever, then you have a different track for each one and you name that track. All right. But I can't show you that because I don't have the computer set up. Sorry, you guys. All right. Short scripts. If the script is short or less wordy, then it may be best to do the whole thing each take, right? Record the entire script all the way through, then do another take with a slightly different tone or cadence, etc., all the way through. Do as many takes as you need to satisfy the project. So when it's short, you can show out on the client, because that makes it very easy for you to give them more than one take, and it also lessens the chances that they're going to ask you to revise it, because you gave them 4 or 5 takes. Probably in there, especially if the takes are good, probably they're going to be satisfied with one of those takes, or they can piecemeal the takes together with their own audio engineer. Okay, boom. Dialogues is I like dialogues a lot because I get to shine here a lot. A dialogue is a conversation between two or more people, well, between two people. When you record your part of a dialogue, it's always helpful to do each line several times before moving on to the next one. Then when you are finished recording, uh then when you are finished recording, and keep as many you can keep it's like a typo here. You can keep as many of the good takes as possible. You're going to go through and shave out the bad stuff and keep all the good takes you did, right? And then pick the best 3 or 4 and send it to the client, right? um and that way, when they are trying to put your voice with someone else, so you have to imagine with the dialogue, a lot of times the client will give you a script and it has the other person's words in it too, so that you can know who you're bouncing off of and what it should sound like, right? So it'll say, let's say your name is Regina in the script, it'll be like Gina, then it has your lines, and then it'll say Kevin, and it has his lines. Obviously, you're not going to read his lines, you're just going to read yours, but in your mind, read Kevin's lines to see what you're bouncing off of, right? Make sense? But read more than one. So if your job is to say, "Hey Kevin, what you doing today?" Right? Then give them, "Hey Kevin, what you doing today?" And then give them, "Hey Kevin, what you doing today?" Then give them, "Hey Kevin, what are you doing today?" Right? But if they're telling you in parentheses, a lot of times they'll say, "Read this like you're curious," or "Read this like you're pissed," or "Read this like whatever." They'll give you instructions in the script. So you pretty much know how you should approach it. Still, though, there's a lot of ways to sound confused. There's more than one way to sound intense or to sound pissed or whatever. So you want to play around with that, and then let them figure out which one they want to use. Right? Cool. All right. Um, Let me see. Like I work for NBCLX. They book me every week. Some of my more higher paying jobs are from them because it's NBC. So it's NBCLX though, subsidiary of NBC. They book me every week because they pretty much know that they can count on me to give them several takes and that they're not going to have to hit me up again. Usually, every blue moon they hit me up again and they say, "Hey, can you read this just a little bit more?" Da, da, da. But for the most part, I read the lines several different ways every time, and their engineers know that they're going to be able to choose from 4 or 5 6 takes sometimes, right? Because I'm like, "Hey, I'm just reading this line right here. It doesn't help me to give you just this one part, and now you're like, hey, I like that, but if you could have just read this way, da, da, da. If I give you more than one take, the chances of you wanting a revision are lesser." Make sense? Okay. All right. um so again, like I said, read as many takes as possible, then submit all the good takes to your client, and instead of just one. All right. This almost always makes a good impression on the client from the client's perspective because it shows that you are willing to go above and beyond the call of duty. It also gives the client many takes to choose from and helps eliminate the need for them to request a revision. Okay. All right. So if you are just joining in, say peace. Y'all give me some high five or some dap or something so I know you're here, so I can have your energy. You know what I mean? I know y'all are listening and I appreciate that. Um, but I like to know that you guys are there. Look at the screen. This is what we're talking about right now. We're talking about this shit right here, voice acting and recording vocals from home. Okay. This is not just a tutorial about voice acting. This is a tutorial about working from home and being your own boss. If you think about it, right? This is a tutorial about you working from home and being your own boss with no one to tell you what to do ever other than your client, satisfying each client. That's all you got to do. You determine when you wake up, you determine how long you work, you determine when you take a lunch break, a eat break, a smoke break, a smash break, whatever. It's all on you. That's what voice acting is all about. It allows you to work from home, and it is a beautiful, beautiful thing, and it's your voice. So your client wants your voice, and that's something that you should have self-esteem about, right? Hey, there go to Dap. There go to Dap. She J Nikki L. How you doing? Miss She J. Yes. Stamina Jones, great name. All right, Augusta, Paul Lopez, kickstand. So I still got y'all. Okay. So let me answer this question and then I will answer your question, LMR Prosper. All right, so let's start with you. Grizzly Meadows. For dialogue, do they send technical settings to match the other, or is that all done in post? It depends on the client and it depends on the level of the client. So one thing about Fiverr is that Fiverr is full of lay people who just need a voiceover right quick. most of your clients, or I'll say half of them, they aren't professional. They don't have a budget. They don't have an engineer. They need you to make it sound good or whatever. So I just always give them the best quality settings that I know how to set. And I always give them WAV files or whatever. If they request MP3s, I render it to like 320 instead of the 128 that it's normally set at, and the other stuff. But yes, clients will tell you, hey, I want you to record with these settings. They will tell you that periodically, yeah, clients will tell you that they don't want you to use gating. They don't want you to do this because they have an engineer. But a lot of the people on Fiverr don't have an engineer, and they need you to make it sound good. All right. So yeah, to answer that question. And how did I get into voice acting? I went over that at the front. I'm gonna say it real quick for you guys. So I'm an MC. I've been rhyming since I was 15. I'm also not just an MC, but I'm an audio engineer. But I've always done it from home. I'm not trained or anything. I've just always done it from home, like grassroots. Even back in the day when there wasn't when you couldn't just buy all this stuff and be a regular person, you know what I mean? Like I would just use my karaoke machine and just record stuff. You know what I mean? So I always was into recording myself and stuff like that. Fast forward, we ended up having a record label. We built a booth here in the room. Once I built the booth, I wanted to build a booth out of cheap materials that I could just afford and build real quickly. I looked on YouTube. There was a lady. She had a booth that she built out of moving blankets, audio foam, PVC pipes, and some lights and stuff. It was dope, but she was a voice actor. And so when I saw that, it opened me up to want to do it too. This is like 2019. I researched it. I saw that I needed a demo, and I'm like, so I left it alone for a while. And then I started graphic designing on Fiverr. That wasn't really working out monetarily for me. It was too little money, few and far between. I was like, let me try this voice acting out. I see the voice acting is big on Fiverr. Let me go ahead and try it out. I made a little makeshift demo from reading shit like Shea Butter and stuff like that over music. People started booking me, and it quickly became my highest paying jobs and my highest paying job. And now 3 years later, I have done over 700 voice acting jobs. That's how I got into it. So thank you for the question. Yes, I'm intrigued. DJ B Smooth. Hey, how you doing? Dap to you. So you guys are hanging in with me. Cool Breeze. How you doing, fam? Cool Breeze. Yes. Okay. All right. So yeah, if you're just tuning in, that's what we're talking about, right? Okay. So let me see if there's anything else that I want to say about this part before we get into. Let's talk a little bit about pronunciation. I have a write-up that I did at one point. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Give me a moment. Let's talk about pronouncing words and different things like that, and just some other little techniques that I have kind of come up with. Let me see. Maybe I could type the word pronounce. Nope. I didn't spell it right. That's why that didn't yield any results, girl. Damn, baby. Where is it? Is this it? This might be it. Okay. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. Let's talk about how to pronounce certain words, and then we're going to talk about compression, limiter, and gate. And then I think I'll round up the tutorial, because just like that, I've been live for 2 hours. It doesn't even feel that way. And I have a voiceover that's due at 7, I think. So I got to get in there and get on it. All right. And if you guys have any more questions or things that I haven't answered, then please throw it out there, and I'll gladly answer them. All right. Excuse me. Hey, thanks for the. Hey, what's up, Simile? Oh shit. What's up, Sim? All right, y'all know that's my peoples, yo. That's a rhyming ass woman right there. Happy International Women's Day, women. That's a powerful woman right there. All right. Anyway, let's get it. Okay, so these are commonly mispronounced words. You guys, if you mispronounce these words, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. Okay, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but this is voice acting, so you have to be able to pronounce. You have to be able to pronounce words. Okay. And don't feel bad if you don't know how to if you encounter a word and you don't know how to pronounce it, you can go on Google, you can hit the little button, and the lady or the man will tell your ass how to pronounce the word. Okay. All right, let's go. So first word is ask, not axe, not axe. Okay. It's ask. And if y'all have any words you want to contribute, please do. It's barbed wire, not bob wire, like B-O-B. Okay. It's barbed wire. It's benevolent, Like Ben. When you see Ben, that means good. At least in English, Ben means the son of someone in other languages like Hebrew and stuff. But Ben in English means it means it means good, right? So it's not it's benevolent, not it's benevolent, not but benevolent. It's another word that people say. I don't I It's benevolent though. All right. I learned this word the hard way because I submitted this job and I was pronouncing this word. I think I had that word on the list too. I do. I do. Nuclear, not nuclear. Biases. If someone has more than one bias, they are called biases. I did a whole job about unconscious biases, and I was like biases or whatever I was saying, and it's biases. It's duct tape, not duct tape. That's right. It's duct tape. Get it, y'all? I don't even got that on the list. That's right. It's candidate, not candidate. It's not candidate. It's not candidate. It's candidate. All right. It's cash, not cachet. Another word I was mispronouncing. It's not. I know there's an e on the back, and it's looking like a whole French word right now. It's cash, not cachet. Okay. It's cavalry, cavalry, not cavalry. It's not cavalry. Nola says it's jewelry, not jewelry. That's right. It's jewelry. Jewelry, not jewelry. Jewelry, jewelry. It's very hard to do that and not say jewelry. But all you have to do is not put the la. It's not really, technically, it's almost like it's a 2-syllable word more so than a 3-syllable word. Technically, it's a 3-syllable word, but you would want to pronounce it more like 2 syllables, and that'll solve it. It's jewelry, not jewelry. All right? Not jewelry. Right, Cool Breeze. It's children, not children. Children. That's something that we say around here. It's kind of our accent. I noticed some of my friends, they say, so when I'm speaking to the children, it's not children, okay? It's children. It's not clothes, like close the door. It's clothes. You're wearing clothing, okay? It's converse, not conversate. It's comfortable, not comfortable. It's not comfortable. It's comfortable. All right. How many syllables? Comfortable. So the word table is in the back. So just look at it like that. Comfortable. Comfort table. Okay. It's dilate, not dilate. Your pupils don't dilate. They dilate. All right. They don't dilate. It's drown, not drowned. It's not drowned. Okay. I mean, it's drowned if it's past tense, but if it's present tense, some people still put the D on the back. You don't do that. If it's present tense, it's drown. All right. It's escape, not escape. It's escape, not escape. It's especially, not especially. It is etc., not etc. It's etc., not etc. It's February, not February. It's February. It's February. February. Very hard to say. February. Not February. It's fiscal, not physical, not like physical, not like physical training. It's fiscal. The fiscal year has 2 syllables. Thank you. What is happening? I'm telling people how to pronounce words and how to not. This is voice acting, so this is very important. This is very important. This is what'll have you having revisions over and over and over because you're mispronouncing a word. And it's a word that you're mispronouncing through the whole voiceover. And then you have to do that whole shit again. And it was a good voiceover, but you were mispronouncing a commonly mispronounced. A lot of these words are commonly mispronounced. It's not like you're stupid because you're saying the shit wrong. You know what I mean? For one, I'm like, it need to be February. It need to be February, yo. I prefer February, not February. Who says that? Right? Right?
What's up, fam? How's everybody doing? We're about to do PE with the family them. I just wanted to add on right quick and let everybody know one thing that we learned about history is For the Europeans that came over here to start America, most of them were not educated people.
Mm-hmm.
So the dialects that they used were the ones that we picked up.
That's right.
And so they didn't have the proper English or the right necessarily grammatical word to say it. So we learned from people who didn't have their language all together.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that on. Peace to the fam.
Yeah.
Doing? Hope everything cool. You know what I mean?
It's funny that you say how they came over to start the Americans. And one of the things I read this back as an example of
the back of the book.
Yeah. And Lamar Prosper was like, "What book is that?" I'm like, "Yeah." Oh yeah. Lamar Prosper said peace too. You know what I'm saying? This somebody with knowledge and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Who?
Lamar Prosper got knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Peace. All right. Let's add on. Let's build.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm Shinez.
All right.
You like that back up? You like that back up like that? Look at that.
Like, you backed out? You crazy. It's foliage, not foliage. It's foliage. All right. The leaves of a plant are called foliage. It's foyer, not foyer. You don't have to Frenchify the word. It is foyer, the way it's spelled. Right? Not foyer. It's get, not get. Now, this is something I was doing. I had a person, they were a Japanese client. And a lot of times people from other countries, they speak proper English. They learn to speak English properly. One reason I like hey baby, welcome back. What you wearing? No, I'm just playing. Unless you want to tell us. One thing that I've learned from doing this, as well as being on Twitch, is that a lot of times when I go into, so y'all know I spell black girl gamer incorrectly, right? I spell it wrong. You not wearing nothing? Shit. Shut up. Then now what? Like now that you're not wearing nothing, what's next? Anyway, I'm crazy. The one thing that I learned was that people from other countries, they learn to speak English properly, right? So when they see my name on the screen, they call me Black Girl Gam R because that's what it says. It says Black Girl Gam R. So they'll be like Black Girl Gam R because they speak proper English because they learned it the way you should learn it because they're foreigners from another country, right? They're foreign to America, so they learned it right. A lot of us don't learn proper English. We learn it from just hearing it spoken, like, you know, colloquially. So that's how we learn it, you know what I mean? And then we don't realize that we're saying it wrong. So this is what happened. I had a Japanese client and I was saying the word get. I kept saying get, like GIT. Like, so now you're going to get busy. You're going to get busy doing the thing so you can get money. I was saying get. And they were like, I like this voiceover, but you're saying get. And I was like, what is, they're like, it's get. So now I say get. I say getting. I never say get. I have to make myself say that shit. I mean, if I'm speaking like to y'all talking like the way I talk, then yeah, I might be like, y'all get out of here, whatever. But I say get now. I say get now. Ain't that right? Come who 2-1. You know what I mean? Get the gat. You know what I mean? I be getting the gat in the joint. You know what I mean? Go get the gat. All right. So it's not get, it's get. It's get. It's not height. It's height. You're mixing up the word with the word height. There's no TH on the back of the word height. It's height, not height. All right. I hear people say that all the time and I just cringe. It's interpret, not interpretate. Y'all got any more? Y'all want to throw them in? Let's do that. It's interpret, not interpretate. Okay? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Respect. What's up, Big Yokem? Yokem up. Oh, you're a father. You're a father. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Jewelry. It's up here. All right. So it's jewelry. It's jewelry, not jewelry. It's liable, not libel. It's liable. Libel is another word. So that's two different words. Liable and then there's libel. Those are two actually different words. Libel is a word, but usually when people say libel, they're not talking about libel. They're talking about liable. All right? So it's a 3-syllable word, liable. Library. not library. It's gonna, not finna. Hey, welcome your ignorance. It's gonna, not finna. Hey, I'm quick with a finna too. I'm quick with a finna. I type it like I type it like it's a word. Hey, it's espresso, not espresso. It's espresso, not espresso. Okay. Um, it's mayonnaise, not mayonnaise. My niggas. It's mayonnaise, not mayonnaise. It's a 3-syllable word. It's millennium, not manilium. It's the Millennium, fam. The Millennium Falcon, not the Manilium Falcon. Falcon. It's not the Manilium Falcon. Falcon. That's hard for me to say. Manilium. What the hell? It's like linoleum. It's millennium. Okay. It's miniature, not miniature. It's not miniature. It's miniature. Okay. It's It's mischievous. It's mischievous. Wow. Cool breeze. Stop. Stop it. Huh? Me? You? Huh? Okay. I was just typing it. I was just about to say it. All right. It's mischievous. It's mischievous. It has 3 syllables. It's not mischievous. There is no us when you actually look at the way the word is spelled. The I is not after the V. It's before it. It's a couple of letters before it actually. Right. It's mischievous. Okay. Excellent. It's nuclear, not nuclear. It's nuclear. It's nuptial. Not so it's a prenuptial agreement. It's nuptial, not nuptial. It's not nuptial. It's nuptial. It's our, not our. Now, let me say a little bit about our versus our. It's very difficult sometimes to stop and say our in a normal. There's a few words that you can play around with some of this stuff, right? Like words like unity, community, liberty. Most people when they talk, they don't say Liberty Bell. They say Liberty Bell. They put a T, they put like a D in there where the T should be. Sometimes you want to do stuff like that because that makes it sound more casual and conversational the way people actually speak. So you want to be aware of the way people actually speak. So you're not mispronouncing the word on well, excuse me, you are mispronouncing the word on purpose because you know it sounds weird to pronounce it properly. So you wouldn't be like in our community, the thing that we want, I'm not saying you can't say community, you can say community, but it sounds a little weird. You might want to say community with a little bit of a D. Okay. So I do want to point that out. So our is that kind of word. When we make our coffee, we use the best blend of beans that we can muster. Our our employees, blah blah blah. So see that sounds right, but sometimes you want to say our instead of our. There's a way to use that word. Sometimes saying stopping to say our sounds a little weird actually. All right? But ideally you want to say our and not our. Our the thing our people like to do, our people do this and our people do that. You want to say our, okay? Oriented, not orientated. Percolate, not percolate. Percolate is the word. It's perco. There's no U in it. It's time for the percolator. If he was saying it right, it's time for the percolator. But it's time for the percolator, right? So a lot of us learn how to say these words from these damn songs and shit, and it ain't percolate. I prefer percolate. I'm dead as fuck. LOL. This shit funny, ain't it? This shit funny. All right. It is perspire, not perspire. It is prerogative. The word prerogative is actually prerogative. Prerogative. Prerogative, not prerogative. It's preventive, not preventative. Preventative is not a word. You don't take preventative measures. You take preventive measures. Okay? I feel like an asshole. You don't take preventative measures, dummy. You take preventive measures. Trust me, you guys, I don't mean it that way. In fact, I don't like the English language. Fuck English. But hey, it's the language we speak, right? Probably, not probably. And definitely not probably. Probably, not probably. Not probably. Probably. Okay? Pronounce, not pronunciate. Yep, he wrong. He wrong, boo. Pronounce, not pronunciate. It's prostate, not prostrate. And the other way around. To prostrate is to bow like this in reverence. Your prostate is back behind your dick and your balls, fam. Okay? It's back there behind your Johnson. Your prostate is back up in here, tucked up behind your Johnson, and you prostrate to Allah. Allah. All right? Cool. It's regardless, not irregardless. Irregardless ain't a word. It's regardless. The word regardless means that. You don't have to put ear on the front. This is my pet peeve right here. And a lot of us black people, we love this one. It's realty, not reality. We're mixing up the word reality with the word realty. So you get realty. I had to call my realtor. There is no such thing as a realtor. It's a realtor, right? It's a realtor. Where we at? I need glasses. It's respite, not respite. I didn't know this. It's sherbet. It's sherbet, not sherbet. It's not sherbet. There's no such thing as sherbet ice cream. It's sherbet. Didn't know that. At least from what I looked up. It's silicon, not silicone. It's not silicone. It's silicon. It's sneaked, not snuck. It's not, he snuck up on me. He sneaked up on you. It's actually, so some of these are spelling things, like things that you just would spell differently. It's supposedly, not supposedly. It's supposedly, like suppose with Ed on the back and Lee on the back. I thought it was sherbet. Talk your shit. Well, I like my sherbet. I like it sherbet too. I'm not gonna never not say sherbet. Isn't that more fun? It's like Cubert, but ice cream. Sherbet. Fuck you, English. I'm gonna say sherbet. Damn it. It's supposedly. It's tenet, not tenant. So the tenets of Christianity. Tenet. That means like the laws, the principles of Christianity, the tenets. Tenet. Not tenant, like someone who stays, like you're a landlord, right? It's triathlon, not triathlon. It's utmost, not upmost. Oh, this is fun. This is the way we talk, y'all. I love it. Give me the way we pronounce this shit. It's utmost, not upmost. It's verbiage, not verbiage. It's verbiage. It's voluptuous, not voluptuous. I know we talking about titties, so we want to put lump in there. I know we talking about ass, so we want to put lump in there, but it's voluptuous. It's wasn't, not wasn't. It's not wasn't, it's wasn't. It's western, eastern, pattern, not western, eastern, pattern. All right, that's some country shit right there. Lots of us here in Virginia do that. Western, eastern, pattern is not words. It's western, eastern, pattern. It's yoke, not yoke. Those are two different words. Yoke is a verb. Yoke is a noun. All right. You yoke a nigga up and then you eat your egg yolk. Egg yolk, or you yoke a nigga, right? And then it's zoology, not zoology. It's zoology, not zoology. Whew. All right. You like the way I pop that voluptuous? Like, it's not voluptuous. It's you know what I mean? It's voluptuous. Bang. Ain't it? Stay cruising. Is it voluptuous? Stay cruising. Yes. Talk to us. Talk to us. Say it with your chest. All right. So those are the words that your ass got to learn how to pronounce if you want to do this thing. And there's plenty more that you will encounter, and you'll learn how to speak them along the way. Okay. So now we're going to talk about compression, limiter, gate. Compression, limiting, and gating. This is important for streamers, you guys. This is very, very useful information I'm about to give you. Oh, shut up, Cool Breeze. That's a good one. For one, salmon. It's actually pronounced salmon. So this is one of those words where you don't even pronounce the L. It's pronounced salmon, not salmon, and definitely not salmon. It's salmon. So it's a silent L in the word salmon. All right. Okay. Give me one moment and let me get this whiteboard erased so I can show you guys about compression, limiting, and gating. If you're just joining in, say peace. Today we are talking about this shit right cha. Voice acting 101. We're talking about recording vocals. So far we talked about how I got into voice acting. We talked about what you'll need if you want to get into it. We talked about what kind of mics and stuff you need and what different mics do. We talked about interfaces and what they do. We talked about DAWs and stuff, Pro Tools and stuff like that, and what that's all about. We talked about how to read short paragraphs, long paragraphs, kind of how you want to approach the microphone when you want to get a good recording. We talked about a lot of different stuff other than that as well. Let me get a whiteboard going. Why not just salmon? Well, that's the problem with English. This is the reason why I even had to go through all of that, because English is a language that is a bastard ass language. That's why I don't like it. It's a bastardized language, meaning it's just a composite language of many, many other languages. English comes from the ancient Germanic. It used to be Germanic, the Germanic language. These people were eventually. There's a place where the English people, the Europeans, were conquered by the Romans. Once they got conquered by the Romans, the Latin language got woven into the Germanic, and that's pretty much the English that we speak today. One reason why English has so many Spanish words in it is because English is a Latin-based language, and Latin is the base of the Spanish language. Latin was spoken by white Romans. It's the language of Rome, Italy. The ancient language of Rome and Italy is Latin. So a lot of the other language, then the Romans went and conquered the world, pretty much the known world at one time. So that's why we speak it. But it's also why the language is so crazy. It's a shitty language. It has horrible, horrible tone. It's a mutt language. That's right. It has no real, that's right. French, Germanic, Latin, and other stuff. That's right. It's hard to learn because there's so many exceptions to the rule. For instance, I before E except after C. But we were teaching our children, and there's all these words that is not the case for.
Protein.
Like protein. I before E except after C. That's not true, right? Mixed in with Gaelic. That's right. And it's even mixed in with a lot of Native American stuff. Over here in America, there's also lots of words that we use from Native Americans and even more ancient languages. There's also quite a bit of Semitic words and stuff in English, like Hebrew and Arabic words. All right. So yeah, trading language words needed in order to trade way back. That's right. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. So yeah, English has no real, the energy and the tone and the vibration of English is very lame. It's one reason why we blacks have added so much flavor to the language, because that's how we don't like to speak English boring as hell. We like to speak it fun. We like to speak it with flavor. So we added our own flavor to the language and made the words mean what the fuck we wanted to mean. And now a lot of other races talk like we talk now. But there's so many things that all of you say that none of you would say if it wasn't for black people. So I'm going to definitely do one about slang. I've done whole papers and articles about slang before, and the origins of it and ebonics and all that stuff. So one day we're going to sit and we're going to compare notes, and we're going to put together a big slang dictionary up here. All right. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a lot of stuff you guys say that you just wouldn't say if there was no Black America. Like, yo, what up, fam? We got the whole world saying that. The whole world be like, yo, what's up, fam? What up, fam? What up, yo? Right? Some black people shit, right? But anyway. Or, shit like, let me find out. You know what I mean? All that kind of shit. Y'all mean all that? That's us. I can't do it and just be wrong. I love this toast that I love toast, but toast with a face, it's great for me. Let me see. I before E except after C or pronounce with an A like in neighbor and way. See that? Yeah, it's very confusing, and then the word neighbor, or the word right, like he's right, she's right. It's like, you mean rigata? That's the way if you was trying to pronounce the word the way we were taught to pronounce the letters, then we would be like, all rigata. All right now. We'd be like, all rigata now. All rigata. Okay, so give me a second. You know what I mean? Y'all don't go nowhere. Let me talk to y'all about compression and gating and shit like that. And then I will go ahead and raid out to someone or whatever. So it's between S dot and the ladies. I think it's gonna be the ladies today though, because today is the International Women's Month. This is the final day of House Nation Music, showing all the different lady DJs and stuff. So again, it's a charity, and I want to get as many people over. I rated them last night as well. I want to get as many people over there as possible so we can keep donating, because he's going to give all the cheers, all the subs, and everything to Sophia, the charity for battered children and women or whatever. So, please let me get a whiteboard and see what I can teach you guys. Oh, perfect. Okay. So a lot of people think they understand compression, but they really, really don't understand it at all. And I'm really pissed because I can't find my big compressor, my old school compressor. I'm trying to figure out where I'm keeping this thing right now. Y'all don't go nowhere. If I can put my hands on it real quick, that's what she said. Then I can show you guys in detail what I mean. I'm really pissed because, hold up. Y'all don't go nowhere. Make sure y'all host and sharing all that shit too. All right. Of course, this damn thing ain't nowhere to be found. It's this huge compressor that I have. Oh, and of course, I'm going to see it as soon as this stream is over. It's going to be right there in my face, staring me right in the face. And I'm not going to be able to find it. I be putting that video, I put that thing on the screen because I don't want y'all looking all in my closet and shit when I'm looking through my stuff. Wow, man. Where could I possibly have put this big ass compressor though? Okay, well, I guess I just have to draw one. That's so lame. That is so lame to me. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. That is so ever so lame. Okay, well, too late now. Okay. Let's see. See what y'all got to say. Come to Canada. We were tossing an extra U in. Colorful neighborhood. Come back just in time for more nerdy signal processing talk. Yes, you do. Yes, you did. P. Smitty, welcome in. How you doing, fam? Gotta. Okay. Is this a juicy marker? It is, but y'all can't see that because it's red. Hold up. So a lot of people think they know. Y'all be like, going to the store, Dag, I just joined. It's all good. You can rewind it. Yep, you can rewind it, boo-boo. But I'm glad to have you here. I'll be done in probably about 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Of course, this cat is tearing my floor a new asshole trying to get in the door. Why you can't just come into the door that's cracked? I don't know. Damn it. I wish I could find my compressor. How am I missing this compressor right now, though? That's what's blowing me. How on earth is my compressor? This thing is huge. It's a big-ass device. It's a big board with all these knobs on it. How could I possibly be missing this thing right now? I mean, I can't find it nowhere. Yeah, I'm leprechaun stealing my shit. Okay. All right, so I'll just draw a compressor. So let's talk about compression right now, what compression is and what it does. So I had a friend gave me a compressor some years back. On the compressor, it said compressor limiter gate. And I was like, what is this? How do I use this? How do I use compression? How do I use gating? And how do I use the limiter? Okay. But once I figured it out, it took me some years to figure it out. But once I figured it out, I was like, oh, it makes a lot of sense. And then it became such a useful thing for me. All right, so let me get all this shit out of my face. I can't stand a bunch of stuff everywhere. Yeah. You see, I got a little bit of an attitude because I can't find my compressor. I got an attitude. Okay, compressor limiter gate. Okay. Now, what happens is this. Whenever you talk, all right, whenever you say anything, whenever there's any sound, that's called a signal. Okay. It's called a signal. When a person is just talking normally, right? It looks like this. As a waveform, it looks like this, right? So I'm talking, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so and so. And then I blah, 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 and then I da 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 and da 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 da. Right? That's how it looks. Okay. This represents decibel level, right? Of course, if it's coming up, we're really, really high. That means that the sound is up loud, right? If it's low like that, that means it's talking lower, right? Makes sense. Well, let's say, so this is called dynamics. Shit. Okay, no. Dynamics. This is called dynamics. All right? Because dynamic means up and down, moving. Dynamic means moving, right? Static means stationary, right? Not moving. Okay? So this is called dynamics. Boom. Erasers right on the backs of pens. This is smart. Who thought of that? Okay? So in a voice, you want dynamics. You don't want the voice to sound like a robot, right? So let's say you got Chaka Khan and she's singing, right? And then she's singing and then she goes into like a loud part, right? So she's you know, what you gonna do? So you know that what you're gonna do, that what? You know, that's probably a louder sound, right? So when you're the engineer, you don't want the signal to be too wild and crazy because you can't, it's hard to work like that, right? So here she is, she's singing louder now. So but she's singing over the saxophone and she's singing over the guitar and whatever, blah, blah. Now she brings her voice down really low and her voice is more subtle, right? So now her voice is sitting more in with the guitars and stuff. So this is my point. You don't want to remove all the dynamics out of her voice, but you want to compress her voice so that it is a more even signal and it gives you something better to work with. All right. So I want you to imagine that whenever you talk, there's a room. You're in a room, right? So let's imagine that this room, I'm going to draw this room right here. So this is an audio track, right? Let's say that this is the ceiling and this is the floor, but really it's left and right channel. That's really what it is. But for him and this phone ringing is getting on my nerve. I hate that ringtone. Hold on, I'm about to yell. I'm gonna mute the mic for a second. All right. Sorry, you guys. I would have been really loud just now. All right. So let's say that this represents the ceiling and the floor. But really, so this is the track. You're recording, right? Here's the middle. Here's the middle of the track, right? Here's the middle. Going right down the middle, right? All right. Now, here's the signal, right? So I'm talking, I'm singing, whatever. Here it is. It's going up, it's going down, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it's going way up here. Sometimes it's just a little bit like that. Boom, boom, boom. I'm rapping. I start yelling, blah, blah, blah. Jesus, the notorious just Jesus, the lyrical thesis, right? That's how that is. Okay. That's just, so these are dynamic vocals. You want vocals to have dynamics, right? You don't want it to look like a bar of soap. You want it to look like zigzags like this. Okay. But let's just say you're like, damn, he's a little too loud in some of these places, and he's a little too low in some other places, right? So you want to even out Biggie's signal, and you're going to use compression to do that, right? I'm going to try not to confuse you guys because this shit is a lot. Compression is very confusing, but not really, right? I just want to say though, I can always listen in because I'm working. I love the Instagram stories tutorial. Thank you. Already changed up the way I make stories. Thank you. I'm glad that meant, because I couldn't really tell how that was received by you guys. Like, people liked it, but I hope you are putting these tutorials on YT so I can come back later. All of them are on Facebook and most of them are on YT. Yes, most of them are on YouTube. How you doing, Megalox? Yes, but they're definitely, I keep them on Facebook because I have a channel on Facebook called Each Nine Teach Nine. So that you guys, this show is called Each Nine Teach Nine, just so you know. DD Whiskey, hey boo boo. And P Smitty, if I didn't speak that good, I'm speaking good now. How you doing again? Okay. So let me keep you. So these are called dynamics in your vocals. Now, you want to kind of what the compressor does. Let's just talk about the compressor first. What the compressor does is it will take low sounds and make them higher, and it'll take high sounds and make them lower. That's what it does to give you a more even signal. But if you don't know how to set the settings, then you're going to have a really, really hard time using compression because you don't know how to set the settings. Okay. So what you want to do with compression, I'll keep it brief because it's, this ain't for this part of the lesson ain't for everybody. Right. But you will find every blue moon, I don't almost never use compression when I do my voiceovers. I don't want to squash the vocal too much. So I don't do it. And I record in a way where I don't really need compression. But every blue moon I do. Every blue moon I do need some compression. And so I'll apply it. It's a very useful thing. So what I used to do was when I was younger in this game, I would go in and by hand, turn everything up or turn everything down. Right? I would turn everything up. I would go in and cut this part. I'm like, okay, I want this part to be a little bit lower. So I would go in, I would cut this section, and then I would use like gain or volume and then turn the thing down manually. And I would go and do it for every single word, yo. Crazy. I was doing crazy shit to get a good signal, right? Because I had a good rhyme going, but I'm like, damn, it gets really loud right there and it gets really low. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's a part of rapping and singing and stuff. You want Patti LaBelle to be able to say so many times, da, 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 and then all of a sudden bring her voice way, way up without it sounding like she's yelling in the microphone, right? Compression is how you do that. So here are the aspects to compression. There's threshold, attack, release, what's that one? Ratio and output gain. These are the main things. If you see any compressor, they're almost always going to have these 5 things on it. And sometimes it'll have a bunch of extra stuff, but all you care about are these things: threshold, attack, release, ratio, output, and gain. All right. That's all you care about. Output gain, excuse me. This is one thing, output gain. Okay. So first of all is the threshold. There is no compression until you set a threshold, meaning you have to tell the compressor, well, when do you want me? I know that you want me to compress, but when do you want me to compress? Do you want me to compress this person's voice when it hits 6 decibels, when it hits 8 decibels? When do you want me to kick in? So you set the threshold. So you might say to it, okay, here's I'm speaking around an average of negative 12 decibels. I want you to start compressing at negative 12 decibels. So when that signal rises up above, so let's say here's my signal, right? Here's me talking, blah, 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 blah. And let's say I set a threshold now. So I set a threshold like right here, right? Let's say I set a threshold there. Now, every time my voice goes up above that threshold, compression kicks in. So in other words, none of this is even being compressed. If you don't set the threshold properly, your compression is going to be completely off. None of this is even being compressed because it hasn't hit this is the threshold, right? So I'm telling it, as soon as it hit the threshold, now I want you to start bringing my voice down, right? So now it wants to know, okay, you told me that you want me to kick in at 12 decibels. Great. In milliseconds, though, when do you want me to kick in, though? Like, okay, now that the voice has gone up over the threshold, how many milliseconds go by before you want me to actually kick in with the compression? Because you got to realize when you're talking, it just takes a few milliseconds for you to say each syllable. But if you're singing, it takes a little longer for you to say each syllable. If you're rapping, it takes a shorter time for you to say each syllable. If this is drums, it's it's really, really just a few milliseconds before that. So here's a snare. You hear the snare, it's quick. It's like, psh. So if the compression ain't kicking in soon enough, you know what I mean? It's not going to do anything. So I'm not gonna stay here that long because this is complicated and it's way easier for me to show you with I was going to show you on the computer. It would have made way more sense to you, right? So this is a lot harder for me to show you on this board. So I don't want to bore you guys to death. All right. So you set the threshold, then you set the attack. So the attack is set in milliseconds, right? So usually if you want it to act right away, you either just put it at 0 or you put it at like 1 or 2 milliseconds. So as soon as it hears the signal, as soon as that signal goes over the threshold, within milliseconds, it's acting. Release is the opposite. Release wants to know how many milliseconds do you want me to wait after the signal goes below the threshold? So now the signal has gone up above the threshold. Attack. How quick do you want me to attack? 2 milliseconds. 2 milliseconds in. That's how quick I want you to attack. Now it went below the threshold. How quick do you want me to release compression? You might tell it, 200 milliseconds, whatever, right? And then whatever. You get the hang of doing this depending on what you're compressing, right? Ratio is now you want to tell it, okay, now that I have gone up above, now that the signal has gone above the threshold, how much compression do you want me to do, right? Do you want me to compress the shit out of the vocal or do you want me to just bring it down a little bit? So you might pick 3-to-1 ratio, right? So that means for every 3 decibels that this vocal goes up above the threshold, I want you to relegate that signal to 1. For every 3 decibels it goes above, I want you to relegate that to 1 decibel, right? Same with, and so that's the ratio. So if you put it to like 7, the vocal will have to go way above kind of the threshold for it to really kick in. But if you put it at like 2 or 1-to-1 ratio or 2-to-3 or 3-to-1 or 2-to-1, then it's not going to go up that high before the compression kicks in. All right. So all it does, without boring you anymore, because I know it's complicated, unless you're one of those people who compress things, then you understand what I'm saying. All you're doing is telling the computer, you're telling the programmer, what the signal, whatever. When do you want me to start compressing? When it gets this loud or when it gets this loud? That's the threshold. Once it gets this loud, how soon do you want me to kick in with the compression? That's attack. Once it goes below the threshold, how soon do you want me to stop compressing? That's called release. Once it goes above the threshold, at what rate do you want me to relegate this, right? How much do you want me to subtract decibels or whatever? That's called ratio. And then the final thing is output gain. Because what happens is whenever you compress any vocal, you remove decibels just by default. You're removing. So once you're done compressing this vocal, it'll probably look like this now, right? Let me show you what it'll look like. Let me show you. Let me kind of use my hand. Fuck it. Okay. So here's the normal singing, talking vocal, all the way up, all the way down, boom, all the way up, a little bit like that, all the way up, all the way down, boom, all a little bit like that. Once you compress it, it'll look more like this. Kind of a more even signal. It's not all over the place. And now you can kind of draw a steady line and you can see where you pretty much have put the vocals in this spot. All right. Instead of it being drastically loud and then really, really low and then drastically loud, and you got to go in and manually turn shit up, manually turn shit down. Very annoying. So compression is one of your best friends ever, ever, ever. It's going to take those lows and bring them up a little bit higher. It's going to take those highs and bring them down a little lower and give you a nice even signal. If you over compress your vocal, the vocal will look like this. It'll look like a bar. It'll look like a bar, yo. It'll look like that. You don't want to over compress the vocal like that. You're squashing all the dynamics and you're making it not sound like, like it should sound, right? It'll sound too saturated and it'll sound too compressed. It sounds squashed, like it can't breathe, like it can't go all the way up to the ceiling or all the way down to the floor. You want there to be some room for it to rise and fall and not be being clipped by anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. So I got compression out of the way because the next two are a lot more easy for you to understand. And this is where streamers can benefit because OBS, all of these programs, they have this stuff. Most of these programs, OBS, what's that other joint? Even if you use Twitch's joint that you can stream with, Twitch has like Twitch Studio. You can stream with that. It's kind of like a wannabe OBS that's attached to Twitch or whatever. So they have gating. I use gating all the time in voice acting. but you want to be cute with gating because gating can mess up your recording. All right. So gating and limiting and limiter are pretty much kind of like opposites. Really easy to remember. Gating, what gating does is it makes it so okay, we're in a room right now. I'm in a room. If I'm quiet, there's still this thing called floor noise, right? It's room noise. So even if I'm quiet, there's just ambient noise in the room. There's air. Air makes noise, even though it's still and blah, 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 ain't no fan blowing or nothing like that. Still, there's air in the room. So if I make a recording with no gating or no compression or anything on it, and I turn the lows all the way up, you'll hear that there's air in every recording, like shh, like that, right? Then there's noises that are happening outside my room. I hear them, but they're really low, right? So they're not a big deal. But if I start recording, those little noises do make their way into recordings, right? So what you want to do is you set a gate. You set a gate. And the gate just means the gate is like, look, if you don't got the password, you can't get past the gate. The password is being loud enough. Okay. So let's say I'm talking. Let's do it again. Let's say I'm talking, right? So here's the room noise right here. It's just down here like that, right? Then I start talking. Boom. It goes way up like that, right? I'm talking blah, 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 blah. And then I go down and here's room noise again. You set a gate. You tell it again, set a threshold. You set the gate maybe like right here. So all that room noise, that shh sound, it won't go into the recording. My microphone won't even activate. If my mic won't activate if the signal doesn't go up loud enough. So theoretically, somebody could stand over here in the room and whisper. And as long as they don't talk louder than whatever gate I set, it won't even make its way into the recording. The problem with gating is that if you set the gating too high, it cuts off the ends of your words and the beginnings of your words. Because if you listen to a person talk, like let's say I say the word word, right? The WOR part, you can really hear that, but the D is more subtle. It has less volume, right? So it's like word. So he had that is like that. That's not really that loud of a sound. So sometimes if you put the gating up way too high, you'll say something something word, but then the D, you got the letter D and it's under the threshold. You see what I'm saying? So it cuts off my D off my words. So you want to set it to where it's not cutting off any of your speech, but it is cutting off the ambient sound that's in the room. So I have gating on all my recordings, right? On all my, unless the audio engineer, unless the person who wants the voiceover, hey, DJ Bill BH, how you doing? Salve, salve. Y'all make sure y'all follow DJ Bill BH. He's a very cool person right there with cool tank tops. And he wears cool shirts and shit and plays awesome vinyl and music. All right. So you want to set that gate. So this is helpful if you're a streamer. You can set a gate to whereas if you just be quiet, the mic is dead. It is not making you can't hear anything. You can set it to whereas if somebody's in the room and they just make a little bit of noise, the microphone won't activate. It'll only activate if you get in front of it and start talking because that's loud enough to get past the gate, right? So if you're not loud enough, you can't get through the gate. That's what gating is. Very, very helpful, especially for somebody like me, where I live out here on this busy ass street and all these people are going by, people walking down the street cussing and playing music and all kinds of stuff. As long as it's not too loud, it don't get past my gate, I ain't got to worry about it. So it just sounds like silence when I stop talking. The limiter is the exact opposite. The limiter means I won't let the signal go no louder than this. So you set the limiter, and if I start talking, bang, I'm talking, there's the limiter. I started talking, the signal went way up. It's just going to stop my signal right here. Right? So it won't let me go up and hit the ceiling or hit the, you know what I mean? Like that's what limiter is. So I have a limiter when I do my sets, when I do my DJ sets, I actually have a limiter on my Serato signal. The music that's coming from Serato, I have a limiter on it in OBS. That way I can never turn it up too loud. It can never, it's hard for it to peak and distort because I have it so it can't distort. I have it limited to, I think, -3 decibels. It can't be louder than -3 decibels. Same with my microphone. I have my microphone set where it can't be louder than a certain decibel level. Now, I have trouble with my mic sometimes. I play around with it too much and pause. I play around with it and sometimes the settings are off and then I'll do a stream and I'm like, damn, I'm loud as hell, or I'm too low or whatever. But when everything is set properly, it's good. So I put a limiter on my signal to make sure it can never get too loud. It just prevents sound from being able to go past a certain decibel level. And that's it. So these are three really, really helpful. But just to recap, if you use compression when you're trying to render a signal or render a final file that is not too loud and not too low. It'll bring the lows up higher in decibel. It'll bring the highs up down lower in decibel level. All right. You use gating when you want to get rid of ambient noise in the room, but you don't want to get rid of your actual vocal. You use gating to get rid of all that little middle sound that, that's just crap noise that's in the room. And you use limiter to keep your signal from getting too loud and distorting or whatever it is. Do you guys understand? And are there any questions before I start handing out DAP and telling y'all what I got going on this week? Y'all can type any questions you have right now while I go in Canva and show you guys my newest schedule. You understand? Good. How you doing, Dee? Cutie. How you doing, Mama? All right. So yeah, there's my Mars. There's my March schedule. Let me upload that to the thing right quick. Here it is. Hopefully this represents my most recent schedule because all these changes keep happening, keep adding new events. All right, so look at this screen. All right, so yeah, this is my old one. This is not my most recent one. Hold on, give me a second. Let me go to Canva and download the most recent one real quick. Then I'm going to give you guys some daps in your fist parts, and then I got to go and do this voiceover. I'm about to go hang with hubby and fam, and I got to do this voiceover, y'all. I got to do this, and I better do a good job. I'm in here talking all this shit, right? All right. Let me see. Do. JPEG download. I also need to eat my sandwich. Oh, I got a half a sandwich in there. All right. Check me out. Check me. Hold on. Add overlay. Click this. Click that. Click everything. All right. I'll look at you guys' comments in one moment. So as you can see, today's the 8th. And like I said I would do, I'm doing a voice acting tutorial right now about recording vocals. I feel like there's something going on Wednesday and I haven't added it here. What is it? I can't remember, but Thursday at 3, I'm in the last train to Friday doing a set. One Reason gave me his slot because he's giving it to women because this is Women's Month. Friday the 11th, I have an 8 p.m. Eastern interview with Xavi 325 on Xavi's channel. However, I'm also in the Queen and Kings raid at 7. So I'll be DJing from 7 to 8. And then right after that, I have an interview, right? So it's tight money. I don't like to squeeze it this tight. That's what she says, but it is what it is, right? So Sunday, I'll be on Straight Fire TV. I haven't added that, but I should be on Straight Fire TV at 12. Saturday Night Experience should be in here somewhere too, you guys. I think that's this weekend, actually. I'm sorry. My schedule is not on point because every time I make one, somebody comes and I add something new every single day. So I'm going to be in the Saturday Night Experience, I think this weekend, but it'll be all right. I'll be all right. I'll add it. Next Tuesday, we're going to do one about songwriting and lyricism. That should be fun, right? I'm going to teach you guys how to approach lyricism, particularly hip hop lyricism, but any kind of songwriting. You can use this, you know what I mean, for writing lyrics to songs. I'm going to teach you guys about that. Friday, I'll be in Fedoras and Cigars that Friday at 6:30. Saturday the 19th, I'll be on Soulful House Music Collage again. Fast forwarding all the way to Tuesday the 29th, I'm going to have a guest on this particular show, 2 guests. Beautiful sisters, Kiwi Teas, and we're going to talk about the healing power of tea and all the good things, right? All right. Good. So that'll be that. Let me see what you guys have to say, and then we're going to go. Let me ring up my hands while I get ready to dap y'all in y'all's hands. And then we're going to raid to the ladies of House Nation Music so that we can donate some more to these charities and ting. All right, here we go. You guys, let's see what y'all are talking about. DJ Bill. Okay, ain't nobody got nothing to say. It's all good. So y'all ain't got no questions. I got nothing y'all want to say. We're gonna go ahead and round it up today. Let me make sure I'm ready to rate out right now, so I won't have y'all waiting around twiddling your thumbs on me. If there's anything you guys want me to teach about going forward, please let me know. I'd be glad to. In fact, that teaching about tea that week is a suggestion. Is a suggestion that someone gave me. What's my name on YT? My name on YT is Each Nine Teach Nine. I don't really do a lot up there though. Sometimes I stream over there for the most part. Like now I'm double streaming, but I almost focus completely on Twitch and Facebook. I used to do all my tutorials on Facebook. We were really doing good over there too. And then I stopped using Facebook. So now the algorithm doesn't favor me, but it used to favor me. Everything I did, they were just all over me. You know what I mean? Every time I went live, I used to have all these people in there and da-da-da. So I've kind of decided to rebuild it over here on Twitch, you know?
Sorry, man.
Oh, well, look.
Yeah, we have fun.
I think it might be worth walling back again.
Daddy.
Yeah, nice wall.
Is that me? Or you? That's me in it?
Me,
That's me.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, what? I didn't even know I had my speakers on. Okay. What he looking like over there?
He got 4. I think he just got going though.
Yeah, well, he been on for about an hour. If he half an hour. If he would promise me to raid the ladies, then I would raid him. But I was just about to raid too, with the women's empowerment joint.
Yeah, you might as well go ahead and do that.
Okay. I'll get him next week. These free streams and cut off the sound. FB started to suck. Yeah, they started sucking. For one, they used to have those watch parties. That was a way that I used to get a lot of. Don't you jump up here? Don't you go? Stop. What do you want? It's not time to feed you yet, Mama. You got a whole hour and a half. Chill out. All right, my cat is really cutting up. She's about to mess my stream up. I'm back here walking around on these cords and stuff behind my monitor. Okay, so I'm about to raid the women's empowerment movement. So again, y'all, we're going over here to what is this? House Nation Music, where there are 120 women DJs who are playing house music, donating to charity for battered women and children. It's dope. Today is the last day, as it is. They've been streaming for a whole week. It's International, Women's Day all across the world. So let's celebrate women. There's some beautiful female DJs over here. You make sure you give them a follow. A lot of them don't stream on Twitch that much. A lot of them started doing this just so they could contribute to the charity. And I think, they could use you guys' support. All right. So that's that. I love y'all. Y'all go ahead and give me some dap in my hands real quick. Boom. I love you. I love you. Let me set up this raid though while I'm talking all this stuff. I love you. I love you. Okay. Hold up. There y'all go. There y'all go with the dap. Hold on. I'm about to dap y'all. Let me just get it set up. Okay. Boom, boom. Megalox, Greenwich Crabs, DD Whiskey, Nolan, LMR Prosper, Patty, Zeb K. Who else? We had Toasty up in here. DJ Bill BH. Who else? Grizzly Meadows, P. Smitty. If I'm leaving anybody out, I'm sorry. I'm just seeing the net. Cool Breeze, DJ Paulie Lopez, Grizzly Meadows. Dap, dap, dap to everyone. Dap to everyone. Okay? Dap to everyone. I love y'all so much. So next week, I'll be teaching about lyricism. We'll be talking about lyricism. Y'all can catch me at 1 o'clock p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. If you guys want to know any more about voiceover, I've done probably now about 7 or 8 tutorials. I will gladly link you to all of them, and you could just study. Just whisper me, okay? I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. See y'all tomorrow in the morning for Hump Day House. All right? Dap, 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 dap to y'all. Dap, 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 dap to y'all. What's up, mama? What's up, mama? Dap, 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 dap to y'all. What's up, mama? What's up, mama? Dap, 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 dap to y'all. Peace out.